Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of KeMedicine. This is KeMedicine 17. I am joined by the Pimps of Polarity,
Woo.
the duo of Dynamism, the Killers of Keto, the Soldiers of Science,
Woo.
Dr. Tanei Ricks, PhD, and naturopath Dr. EnQi.
Yeah, let the crowd go crazy.
EnQi, you gotta slide to your left a little bit.
Slide to the right. This bro. Too hot now, yo.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome, everybody. Make sure you sit down, grab a bag of kale chips. I know they taste like shit, but eat them shits anyway.
Unnecessary roughness.
Those shits taste like dirt, okay?
He was clearly too well behaved last week, so he done decided to make up for lost time.
The Gremlins are on the prowl early.
Man,
They ain't waiting until 12 o'clock.
man, they got broken watches. They in the time zone. Man.
How y'all fellas doing, man?
We good. I'm good.
We doing good. We doing good. I just want to defend all of the dignified kale chip company brands that have delicious, healthy snacks for the people out there.
No, sir. There's no such thing as a delicious kale flake sandwich snack. It's not a thing. Here go Glenn talking about I love kale chips. No, you force yourself to love them. You don't love them nasty shits. Them shits taste like seawater and dirt.
Hey. That is a lot of slander there, sir.
Oh, you make them? Oh, shit. She a
Yeah,
hotep
that's
for real.
pretty easy to make in the air fryer and shit.
That's what I'm talking about. See, that hotep is stand so deep, you gotta watch your mouth. even when you hotep Jesus, you still gotta watch your mouth in Hotepistan, because Hotepistan is deep.
Damn. I forgot we got sister soldiers in the house.
Man, yeah. You gotta put some respect on Hotepistan. Man, it's everybody in Hotepistan.
I mean, where else you gonna get your security detail from?
You right. They better be doped up on them kale chips to keep me safe. You heard about my security detail, EnQi?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you doing the the vicious, the female, the Wakanda thing.
Yeah. Very important. You know what I'm saying?
Is Sunny the head?
Sonny's at the helm.
Well, there you go. That's gonna be vicious. However,
She HBIC, head bitch in charge. That is facts.
that is the Sultan of viciousness.
I texted EnQi tonight and I asked him what we on tonight. So I just made up a title because I don't even know what we on tonight. I forgot we were supposed to pick up where we left off last week. So I just threw some copywriting headline in there that should invoke some clicks and shit.
Well, we technically always in the middle of a melanin and a health discussion, and a comedic discussion, and a trolling, and ridiculing weird people on the internet discussion. So those can always intersect and leave us in a good space.
You got to slide over to your left some more. What you got on, Fila?
No, sir.
That shit look kind of fly. You look kind of...
But I feel like if I say the name, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be some more old people jokes.
Is it New Balance?
No, sir.
ASIC?
No, sir. No, sir.
Wilson?
No, Wilson is diabolical. Holy shit.
JanSport.
Sergio Ticini, sir. Sergio.
Okay. All right. Let's
That don't even
go.
sound old. That just sounds fly.
You can't trust these New York niggas. These niggas always try to find a reason to be fly. He not too far from Harlem anyway. You know how they get down. Yeah, though. Yeah, he came in with the drip. He be trying to show us out every night. Every Tuesday night, he tried to come drip down.
No, you saw when he turned to talk to Chase earlier. He had the big Gucci on the side. I'm like, okay, all right, I see you.
Stunting.
Unnecessary roughness. And Tanei, you supposed to be with me. What is happening right now? That's why HJ is starting off so.
Hey, I'm
You know what?
I see it.
Listen, I have to take this because I was late this evening, folks. So clearly, that allowed HJ time to entrance Tanei from his professorship to bring him over to the dark side.
Guess what I did this week?
What?
I switched up my morning routine. I got my first meal of the day starts with some kale in it.
Come on now.
I got some red kale.
Come on now.
Now I remember back in the day, I was deep in the Sabi Twitter. I was deep in the Hunt 25th Street Twitter. I'm sorry, YouTube. Y'all never made it to Twitter. My bad. YouTube. And I remember somebody talking about kale, and he said that the green kale is not exactly what you want to go for. It's the red kale that you want to go for. In fact, green kale is not as bueno as the red kale. And I was trying to figure out where I heard that from. And I was like, you know what? I think I heard that from Dr. EnQi.
Yeah, not exactly. I was, I've been correcting some Sabi-isms lately.
Okay.
Because, the Sabi is the legend, the myth, the man, one of the GOATs. I will always treasure his legacy and build upon it with great pride.
As you start to trash it, go ahead.
No. Sabi left us with a lot of, a lot of things that needed, there's a lot of things that Sabi left us that needed correction.
Okay, so is the green kale bad for you? That's what Honorable Elijah Muhammad said. The green kale is no bueno. I believe at one point you said it.
No. I was saying that, all kale is good. All kale is good. All kale is good.
What about the acid in the green kale? It's got folic acid or something in it.
All kale is good.
Okay. All right. See, now
acid is good.
Acid is good. Ass is good. Get yourself a piece of evil ass. Woo!
All kale is good, but there are some there's some variety out there. So if you can get you some red kale or some dinosaur kale, go for it.
Dinosaur kale? Wow, I never heard of that one.
Yeah, they got dinosaur kale. Dinosaur kale is good. Red kale is good. The green kale is just common. It's not that it's bad for you. It's just hierarchy. It's like watermelons, you know what I'm saying? Black seeded watermelons. Then they got the extra sweet ones, and they got some rare stuff out there. So, if you can get the red kale, if you can get the dinosaur kale, get that, because the green kale will be there year round. You'll always be able to get the green kale.
But the dinosaur, that's a little seasonal.
Yeah, it's just more hard to find. You're not going to find that in your supermarket all the time.
Okay.
Definitely not going to find the red kale all the time.
Okay, so I got a good market then if they got that red kale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I paid.
But no, I'm not trying to trash Sabi. It's not about like trashing Dr. Sabi. It's more about trashing all of the people that are, like saying that they upholding the legacy, or the nephews, grandkids, like all of the hangers-ons, the people who are interested only in filling the financial or commercial void that Sabi left open, as opposed to doing the hard work and the research to continue to build on what he started.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 2025, and you still have people running around saying that melanin is not real. We're carbon-based people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You still got people running around saying that protein is not real. White people made that up as the white devil made up the idea of protein and amino. See, look, see. So when I mention it, people get a little crazy. They're like, "Oh, ain't you getting ready to cut?" But then when I start getting to the specifics, it's like, yeah, we kind of relegating that to, we trying to overlook those things. And for me, I don't, I don't think it's possible to overlook those things. That's number one. But B, I don't think those are blemishes on Dr. Sebi's record.
Yeah.
Like when you're doing firsthand research, you're doing all you can, and you taking the ball like it's almost like playing football. The running back, he might take the ball as far as he can take it, and then you got to get it to the receiver, or you got to get it to the tight end. Like somebody else got to take the ball further. You know what I'm saying? Like it, Sabi was, miraculous. You know what I'm saying? He was one of a kind for his generation. He took us to a space that we wouldn't be able to get to the space we're at today without him. But people still trying to like in 2025, it's 50 years old now. Like we don't think of it that way, but it's 50 years old now. Like, you know what I'm saying? We gotta continue to grow and,
So I want to pick up somewhere we left off last week just to get some clear understanding. Okay. The pigments, last week we said the pigments was like Boston George. He's the middleman between the plug and the customer, in the system. And the pigments is sort of playing a middleman role. Can we pick up where we left off there? I want to make sure I understand that conversation.
You mean like between God and... Sure.
No, sir.
God, pigment, then everything else.
No, sir. That's not what we were talking about.
Okay.
We were talking about in the body, they had a specific role. The pigments had a specific role as far as maybe translation or something like that, or transmit.
Absolutely. Yeah. The pigment. So you have energy, light, which we, relegate to spirit in some conversation.
Right.
And our pigment is there to translate, different types of pigment, different types of energy. But sure, that's pigment's job to translate that into...
Well, pigments in the food is what I'm saying. Like once we eat the
Yeah.
Pigment,
I thought you were talking about pigments in the body. Okay.
No, in the food.
Well, pigments in the food we need for a wide variety of things.
Okay.
Yeah, we need pigments in the food for a wide variety of things. Right, pigments in the food, antioxidants. Some pigments just they stay in our body almost kind of like as is and function the way they almost just transfer from the plants to us. Like if you think like lutein or zeaxanthin, right? When we eat those, they go right into our eyes as is almost and protect our eyes. Even chlorophyll, when we break down chlorophyll transfers into our fat cells. And chlorophyll, if we eat enough greens, will build up in our fat cells and help us metabolize fat a lot faster. So, there's a wide variety of things that pigments do in the food that we need pigments for.
So these are carotenoids?
Yep. Carotenoids, beta carotenes, vitamin A's. Yep. The lutein and the zeaxanthin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the types of pigments? We got carotenoids and what else?
It's much easier to just say we got blues, reds, oranges, yellows, greens, because there's all types of, you got varieties of blue pigments, you got varieties of reds, oranges, yellows, like you got a lot of them. But the thing is, most people although we were designed to get pigments into our diet, most of us, we don't, especially in America. Yeah, the pigments that's supposed to be in your diet have been replaced by artificial color. And just based on how the brain works, you can tell that we are hardwired to eat pigments because they make us desire the food more, which is the reason why the commercial industry uses the artificial colors because it helps to lure people in and keep them addicted.
Tanei, what do you got to say about this pigment conversation? Carotenoids and steroids and all these other oids. Big noid. What do you got to say about these pigments?
I mean, pigments are really interesting because when you look at their structures, like EnQi said, a lot of the structures are varied. So a lot of them have different molecular weights. Then you have different classes based on what kinds of structures they have. At the end of the day, a lot of them are able to just carry a lot of electrons for whatever reason. A lot of them tend to have aromatic rings. So if you look at like the different polyphenols, or if you look at like flavonoids, all these different kinds of pigments, they all do different things. They're all found in different foods. But at the end of the day, a lot of them are just good electron carriers. So they interact with light very well. They allow us to scavenge other electrons. So that's where people talk about like antioxidants, right? So when people talk about, oh, this is a good antioxidant. This is a good antioxidant food. Well, we talk about the bicarbonate buffer system in your body, right? So the bicarbonate buffer system is essentially a system that buffers the pH in your body, right? So when you go through respiration, you breathe in oxygen, you breathe out carbon dioxide. The process of respiration going on in your mitochondria, it releases CO2 as a byproduct, right? But that CO2 has to leave the mitochondria and it has to get out of your body as a waste product, right? So it goes through blood plasma, and in your blood plasma you have water, right? And so water plus CO2 gives you carbonic acid. So that's H2CO3. So then H2CO3 can break down to H plus, which is just regular acid or hydronium. And it also breaks down into HCO3, which is bicarbonate. So when people talk about alkaline versus acidic, that's generally what they're talking about. But you have different compartments in your body. Some can be acidic, some can be a little bit more on the basic side. So some of these pigments can assist with carrying these electrons out, but in the process of turning oxygen into carbon dioxide, oxygen is really interesting because it does like to make radicals. And so radicals are just single electrons, right? Whenever you say that this is a free radical or a free radical scavenger, this is something that grabs single electrons. Electrons like to be in pairs with each other. They generally don't like to be alone. When you have electrons alone, they tend to be more reactive. And when they're more reactive, they just kind of interact with anything that's around. So on the surface, that might sound okay, but when you think of it in the context of all the different systems that are in your body, all the different proteins, all the different macromolecular structures that are in your body, you can start to have these things interact, and then they'll start to like break down certain systems. So in addition to having your bicarbonate buffer system, you also have what's called the sulfur redox homeostasis system. And in that system, you have these sulfur derivatives, or these compounds that have sulfur in them, right? And sulfur is generally used because it's very, very good at stashing extra electrons, right? So if you look at the periodic table,
I'm sorry. We moving from baking soda. I got baking soda. We moving from baking soda to the NRF2 system, correct?
yes.
Okay. All right. Just to simplify, because you getting in your bag over there, and you know what I'm saying. I just want when he's talking about the bicarbonate system, it might be easier if people just
Yeah, you just say baking soda.
in the neighborhood, they baking soda. They. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Then the
So
NRF2
regular
system.
Arm and Hammer, some people say Arm and Hammer is bad, whatever. I mean, hey, however you want to call it, but yeah, it's just regular baking soda.
Need that to cook crack.
You don't need it to cook crack. It's just what a lot of people use
Unnecessary
on
roughness.
hand.
You know, we could have just left it right there for baking soda. There was no reason to bring Richard Pryor or Mike Epson to this. You know, Pookie was fine. New Jack, you know what I'm saying? Like, we could have just left it right there, baking soda. In fact, we had already left and transitioned to the NRF2 system, and the brother was breaking it down eloquently. And I'm sure he's going to bridge from the NRF2 system into the sulfur that works with the iron in the electron transport chain. So I'm interested in hearing this.
Well, real quick, he said there's another way to cook crack, so we definitely want to do a class on cooking crack.
No, sir.
All right.
No, sir. That's not. This is not a masterpiece plug. Make it. No, we're not.
We just trying to feed the streets. That's all. We just trying to feed the streets. That's all. I'm sorry.
So in org 2, I remember when I took org 2 at undergrad, and one of the first reactions that we learned was reductive amination. And for people that don't know, anybody I know chat's probably seen Breaking Bad before. Do anybody remember the episode when Walt and Jesse robbed the train car? And they were robbing it. They were trying to drain the methylamine out of the train cars, right? So methylamine is a really easy precursor to making meth, and so that was one of the reasons that they.
I'm sorry, audience. Let me apologize again. You know, Hotep Jesus is Hotep Jesus for a reason. His personality is very magnetic and very infectious. Now, if y'all remember last week's episode, if y'all remember the weeks prior to last week, it was a heavy amount of trolling, a lot of work I had to do to try to keep him, you know, like to make sure that we had some degree of ma'at. Now this week, just a few minutes late, just a few minutes alone, HJ was with Professor Tanei, and all of a sudden, Tanei is just another person.
Hey man,
now
Tanei, they knocking on the door. I had to let him in, man.
HJ has taken this to cooking, like, and then Tanei has one-upped HJ and moved to meth. I don't.
We need that meth recipe. We definitely need that. Forget the crack. Now I want to know about the meth. There's money in that.
Yeah, so that's a real standard reaction. I think it's with
What's the name of that reaction again?
It's a reductive.
Listen, so if you have the green kale or the dinosaur kale or the red kale, no, seriously. If you have any of the cruciferous vegetables, right, are known for being positive contributors to the thiol family. And the thiol family is very important in keeping your body healthy. You know, I prefer, you know, I'm a Brussels sprouts,
this got to do with
purple cabbage, because the thiol family and the cruciferous vegetables is where you get a natural good supply of the sulfur that boosts the NRF2 system, which is what he was discussing before you adulterated this conversation, HJ. He was moving from the pigments and the redox, right, and the baking soda over to the NRF2 system and how sulfur works to boost the immune system. And I'm assuming that he was going to segue from there back to the electron transport chain with the iron sulfur clusters over there. And then you went to, you know, Sugar Hill, and then he followed you up with visions of the trailer park kingpin. I don't know what, you know what I'm saying? Like,
all right, Dad pulled the car over, so let's get back on track. All right, so
NRF2 system, also known as dinitrogen difluoride, is a fascinating molecule that showcases isomerism and unique chemical properties. Okay.
So if you type in sulfur redox homeostasis.
Homeostasis. Okay. All right, here we go. Sulfur redox, a vital balancing act in biology. Sulfur redox homeostasis refers to the intricate balance maintained by biological systems between reduced and oxidized forms of sulfur-containing molecules. This balance is crucial for cellular function as it impacts everything from antioxidant defense to cellular signaling and metabolism.
So when you look at sulfur redox homeostasis, right? So again, we're talking about electrons and how they're passed back and forth. So the periodic table is arranged in such a way where the elements that are in the same row, the same column, so up and down, things that are going up and down, they share very similar characteristics to each other. So oxygen and sulfur are in the same column. They're both group 6 elements, all right? So they share a lot of similarities with each other. But oxygen is in row 2, sulfur is in row 3. And so when you talk about,
Don't forget the homie
which homie?
in the same row. We gotta mention it.
Which homie?
Selenium.
Oh, selenium. Yeah. Okay, so oxygen, sulfur, and selenium. Yeah.
No, come on.
So when you transition past row 2, so this is kind of where you get more into like quantum mechanics and you start talking about electron energy levels. When you get past row 2, you open up what's called the D subshell, and in the D subshell, you're able to stash more electrons, right? So, and this is where kind of some of your transition metals come in, like your iron, zinc, things like that. These are all what we call transition metals. These all have access to that D subshell. Oxygen is still in row 2, so oxygen doesn't have access to that D shell, so it's not able to deal with these rogue electrons as easily, right? But it can generate them very easily. So essentially what will happen is oxygen can pass these rogue electrons off to sulfur. Sulfur can accept them no problem because that D subshell is available. It can stash that they can stash that electron in there, no problem. And so that electron is now bound to sulfur. And then typically what happens is that sulfur will make bonds with itself. So sulfur, they'll make what's called disulfide bonds. Where EnQi was talking about earlier, you typically have thiols. So thiols are SHs, alcohols are OHs. And so that's kind of the differentiation between those two, but that also kind of lets you know that they're really similar to each other. So if oxygen can form bonds with hydrogen readily, sulfur can also form bonds with hydrogen readily. The thing that's different though is that sulfur is bigger than oxygen is, so in technical terms, the bond overlap of the HS bond is worse than OH because oxygen is more similar in size to hydrogen than sulfur is. So that makes the SH bond really easy to break. And on top of the ability to transfer these electrons back and forth, it's really easy for sulfur to make bonds with itself. And so when you think about reducing and oxidized environments, the disulfide bond is a more oxidized bond, the SH bond or the thiol is more reduced. So this goes to protons and electrons. And so when you talk about redox and you also talk about pH, they're often linked to each other. So most of the time when you find gradients of pH, you will also find gradients of electrons or redox. And so we have this redox system in our bodies that allows us to basically grab these rogue electrons and shuttle them either into the electron transport chain that you can use for more downstream energy production, or you can take them and stash them inside of these different disulfide bonds so that they're not allowed to go and bond with something else. And then that sulfur can be transported somewhere else. So there's really important parts of sulfur redox homeostasis that work along with the sodium bicarbonate system. And most of the time when one of them is out of balance, the other one is also out of balance too, because when you have differences in pH, you're generally also going to have differences in redox too, because pH does participate in redox reactions as electron carriers.
Yeah, you could look at pH almost as an indicator of what's happening with the redox. Yeah.
Wow.
So, for example, like in cancer cells, right? So people talk a lot about cancer cells, and they talk about like, oh, you kill cancer cells, you have to starve them of sugar. Well, that's kind of not the whole story. But what the reason why they say that is that cancer cells go through glycolysis faster because they have a higher energy requirement. But in going through glycolysis faster, you also go through respiration faster. So when you go through respiration faster, you're kicking out more carbon dioxide faster. And so what happens is there has to be more water in the area to compensate. So when that carbonic acid starts breaking down, it starts breaking down into more H plus. So that's why the area around cancer cells and generally the area around diseased tissue in general is a lower pH than the rest of your body because of the processes that are happening is kicking more acid out. And so that's why people are always saying, oh, you have like when, the balance between an acidic and a basic environment or acidic versus alkaline. Lower pHs tend to indicate disease, and especially when you look at cancer cells, they indicate disease because you have a faster rate of glycolysis going on, which is producing more acid. So
But it's confusing. It's confusing for people that don't know the chemistry because they think you counterbalance that by consuming something with that's a base or alkaline. So people are
yeah,
drinking peroxide, people are mixing peroxide with baking soda, doing all kind of crazy things, and it doesn't work the way it
yeah.
would sound. Like it's counterintuitive almost because what's happening is that it's a much faster rate of cellular respiration going on. And as a byproduct of that cellular respiration, you're getting a much faster pooling of the waste products that we interpret as quote unquote acid. But
Yeah.
it's not like, you just
So,
gonna have a kale, you're not gonna just have a kale salad and some detox pills on Monday, cancer going on Tuesday. It doesn't,
Yeah,
that's
that
not
don't
how
work
it
like
goes.
that.
so what are you
Yeah.
supposed to do? Is some pigment you supposed to take? What
It's
do
not
you?
necessarily a pigment. Like you just have to understand that these systems are buffered. Like when you have buffers, like so the reason why buffers work in the first place is that they're very
When you say
resistant to
buffer, what do you
pH
mean?
change.
When you say
So
buffer,
a buffer is
Ways to
ways to
balance
balance.
out the rogue. So everything in your body is based on binary. Your body is a system of binary systems.
right?
Like a lot of times, if I say the body is binary, it runs on binary coding. It's an oversimplification and people miss it. But the body is a system of binary systems.
Right.
So even when even when you say like redox is a binary, it's a a
Reduction
basic
oxidation.
reduction and oxidation. But even redox is a system of binary systems because you can look at an acid and an alkaline from two directions. So it's bidirectional, but each direction can go in two different ways. So like for instance, you go redox, right, is adding electrons, oxidation is removing electrons. But you can say that in the opposite way. You can go redox is right. You can go instead of adding electrons, you can go removing protons, right? Or you can do the same thing with oxidation, the same thing with base and acid. There's
Adding
some
protons.
this right. Base is alkaline. Just so we
Right.
right. So with a base, you can go. A base is something that donates electrons, or you can say a base is something that steals or accepts protons.
Protons.
So the technical terminology for that. So when we talk about acids and bases, we typically talk about from three different kinds. So you have Arrhenius acids and bases, you have Bronsted-Lowry acids and bases, and you have Lewis acids and bases. So when you look at Arrhenius acids and bases, it only cares about whether or not it puts out H plus or OH minus. If it puts out H plus, it's an acid. If it puts out OH minus, it's a base. if you have a Bronsted-Lowry acid or base, this talks about protons. So things that donate protons are Bronsted-Lowry acids. Things that accept protons are Bronsted-Lowry bases. Then you get to the actual, like the kind of final form of acids and bases when we talk about Lewis acids and bases, and that deals with electron pairs. So things that accept electron pairs are Lewis acids. Things that donate electron pairs are Lewis bases. So that's why you can have a link between pH and redox, because if you think about it in a sense of Lewis acids and Lewis bases, that talks about electrons. So if you have a redox system that's involving Lewis acids and Lewis bases, then you also start to get into some redox elements as well too. That may not be true for something that's an Arrhenius acid or something that's Bronsted-Lowry. It's also important to say
Wait. Which, if this sounds crazy to you right now at home, imagine now scaling this up to try to explain this to people who have learned this in a super oversimplification regarding, food, produce, Beyond Burgers, red meat, like trying to have this as a food conversation.
Instead
right?
of an electron and proton electrical charge conversation.
Well, because you have to have one inside the other, because the food is the substrate that we use our body to break down into electrons, protons, etc. The terminology is just based on the type of science we use. So if we're using this type of science to have the conversation, you might be using you might be talking about Lewis bases and acids or whatever the case may be. But the food, regardless to what, is what you would use as your substrate to break down into, electrons and protons. That, like, it's gonna break down to electrons, protons, and recycle ATP, right? It's just a matter of the science, the language that you couch the concepts in.
And you also have to have, like, when people talk about, eating acidic or alkaline forming food. So perfect example, citrus fruits, right? So citrus fruits, when you look at them, you test them, they're acidic, right? Most citrus fruits somewhere in like the 4, 5, 6 range when you test them with the pH meter, right? But you have to look at the process that citrate goes through, and like the sugars that are in the citrus fruit, when they go through glycolysis, what are they producing? And so for citrus fruits have a lot of citric acid. Citric acid breaks down into bicarbonate. So that's why they tell you when you
Hold
eat.
on. Let me just stop you. Listen, this is why at some point, with all love, due respect, and reverence for the great Dr. Sebi, right? No. I'm just saying, the training wheels had to come off, right? Because if the training wheels didn't come off, there's no growth. The glass ceiling became like a spike ceiling after a while. The training wheels had to come off, because as the legacy and the legend grows and spreads around the world, you start to get more and more people interested in these ideas, especially as plant-based science and plant-based approaches to healing and medicine get more popular. Because really, plant-based culture is only frowned upon in America, Canada, the UK. Like, it's only 4 or 5 countries. Everywhere else is still plant-based society. And it's not even really a white-black thing. Because when you go to Germany, Germany is plant-based still. And when I say plant-based, I'm talking about you go to the pharmaceutical, like your doctor will prescribe you plants. You go to France, the doctors prescribe plants. They don't
Really?
just use pills. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
it's only in America where it's like 100% chemical gloop that we got to deal with here. So, yeah.
So basically, the British Empire.
Boom. There you go. Right. So as the world is opening up and the internet is making more of the one world thing, and the ideas are growing and getting more popular, and the holes in the science makes it makes it easy for the opposition to go, yeah, but that's fake because he said protein is not a real thing. Or that's fake because they said these foods are not healthy because of this.
Mm-hmm.
Or the food list, doesn't contain any hybrids, even though like there's hybrids on the Dr. Sebi food list.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like just certain, you know what I'm saying? So we know that acid is good for the body. You have to have healthy fatty acids. You have to have healthy amino acids, right? Like scientifically we have to have you know, there's a difference between toxic material and acid. If we just say acid, even if we euphemistically imply toxic chemicals, we can't use the word acid because the word acid is also a category of a zillion different things that we can't live without.
Right.
Right.
So we can't just reduce this to a acidic versus alkaline conversation.
Right. Because in a euphemistic slang ebonics universe, we know what we talking about when we say acidic food.
Mm-hmm.
But the moment we try to translate that and we try to have a scientific conversation, you look like you illiterate when you say, "Oh no, we're avoiding acids." Like, oh, you avoiding acid? Like, how are you building bones, teeth, hair? Like, what do you mean? You know the pigment? Oh well, melanin's not even real. That we're carbon. Like, wait, what? So there's
Yeah,
no
a
such
lot of
thing as
it is
melanin? Like,
Hold on a second. Hold on. Everybody slow down. All my scientists slow down. Where my phone? Thank you for the 5. Markel, thank you for the 5. Thank you for keeping the show going.
I mean, a lot of it at the end of the day is just being able to track metabolism, being able to track end products. Because most of the time, things that come in don't leave the same way that they came in, and that's by design. They started something and they leave as something else, or
Okay.
they form something else inside of the system.
Right.
So that's the premise that a lot of foods are built on. That's the premise that a lot of drugs are built on too. Call it prodrugs. They get into the system, they interact with the system, they become something else. They turn something on, turn something off, and then they leave as something that they weren't to begin with. So.
Mm-hmm. So all right. So let's come back. We got shout out Sauce. Thank you for the 10.
wait a minute. Okay, yeah, shout out.
Real quick, I got a question. No, go ahead. Finish, EnQi. Go ahead. Finish.
No, I was just going to say, while we in this pocket of things creating other things, I blew a few folks' minds.
You was close
yesterday.
there. You was close. You was close. You was close. You was
I
close.
blew a few folks' minds yesterday because I was saying that there's a pocket, right, where we can discuss the fact that your body creates amino acids out of carbohydrates and fats.
What?
So I'm just
What?
Yeah. There's a so now that I'm here with Tanei, right? I think Tanei can elaborate probably on, because I was trying to explain to people how the whole idea of amino acids is upside down because, like we say non-essential amino acids and essential amino acids.
Right.
And so most people, they believe that essential amino acids are the most important because of the term essential amino, but they're not.
That means something different.
Well, the non-essential amino acids are actually the ones that are the most important. But the term non-essential versus essential doesn't cross over or translate to the level of importance they have in your biological function. It's strictly talking about which ones is important for you to focus on getting in your diet. It's essential to get these amino acids because your body cannot make them.
Yeah, anytime
Oh.
they talk about essential versus non-essential is what your body can make versus what your body can't make. So if
Right.
something is non-essential, your body can make it on its own. And that goes for like other molecules too.
But
There are
wait,
other
but wait.
molecules that are deemed non-essential and essential.
But here's the thing. People don't understand that the non-essential amino acids are used in your biochemistry way more
More
than the
than-
essential ones.
Yeah.
Wow.
And your body makes the non-essential amino acids from the energy cycle. So when your body is breaking down fats and breaking down carbohydrates, it's using the you can't really say waste because your body has your
The carbon skeleton is using the carbon skeleton.
right, but your body is the essence of efficiency. So it really doesn't have waste because it'll be a waste product in a certain biochemical set, but that waste product is the seed of a different type of biochemical set. So the products that are not used in the energy system are actually the raw resources that your body uses to make something else on the flip side. So as your body's making energy, those byproducts, a lot of those byproducts are used for your body to build those non-essential amino acids.
So when you mention people can make amino acids from carbs, you're talking about those non-essentials.
Correct. Which are the most that the ones that you mainly use to regenerate your tissues every single day.
Wow.
Like think of, we make like 50 billion cells a day. There's a lot of material that we need to, you know what I'm saying? Like there's a lot of stuff that we need to use in order to, like we have to have a lot of raw resources in order for your body to build, you know, to maintain all these structures every day.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes they only focus on like a handful of amino acids. There's a lot of amino acids out there. There's a lot of amino acids that have a lot of different functions that people don't talk about.
At all, because you got the two different. Listen, I had to do a whole new book. Y'all know I got a book on it. Listen, I had to do a whole new book on this because you got two groups, and these two groups is it's the uninformed getting taught by the misinformed. You got the bodybuilding folks. They don't focus on anything except mTOR, leucine, branch chain amino acid. Like that's they in that pocket. They in the building muscle pocket. Then you got the holistic universe, and you got at the core of the holistic space, you have the ghost of Dr. Sebi, who's still promoting whose followers are still promoting the idea that protein is not a real thing, right? So you have the uninformed by the misinformed. If you go holistic route, they went to the extreme that protein doesn't exist or you don't need it or the white devil made it up. If you go to the muscle head steroid surgery side, you know, they only focus on a handful of,
Well,
Go ahead.
if protein is nothing but amino acids, ain't no such thing as protein. It's amino acids.
Yeah, that's not true. That's that's like saying if your shirt is made out of thread, then there's no such thing as shirt.
Tanai, tell him I'm right, Tanai.
No, he does. He The shirt analogy was fire. I'm gonna have to steal that one. That was kind of fire.
Yeah. If there's no shirt, there's no shirt.
What Dr. Sebi said ain't no such thing as protein, man. I saw it somewhere. I think I seen it on the Breakfast Club or something like that. It was one of Dr. Sebi's kids.
Was absolutely incorrect.
Damn. So
And he was dangerously incorrect because there's no way to heal the human body without addressing protein.
there's no way to heal the body without addressing protein.
Correct.
I mean,
Now,
you have to think about like all of the structures that proteins are involved in, like your hair, your skin, your nails, like essential enzymes that catalyze different reactions in your body. Like there's all your connective tissue. Like there's.
Well, how many different?
I will say,
but wait, not even just proteins, because you thinking about big proteins. We got to think about the electricity inside the body, right? Because that's where everybody will go, especially my holistic folks. They'll go to the electricity side. They're forgetting that electricity is generated primarily, if we're talking about outside of mitochondria, we're talking about ion channels in cell membranes. The ion channels in the cell membranes are amino acid structures. Then on the inside of the cells, conducting the ions around the place is microtubules and filaments. These are more amino acid structures. Then if we're talking about energy molecules like ATP, if we talk about nucleosides and nucleotides, these are also amino acid structures, right? So it's really no way to repair a cell or group of cells, tissue, organ, gland without addressing. Now you could do it without paying no attention to it. Like you can you can go on, like you can use herbs and pretend that it doesn't exist, even though the herbs are contributing nitrogen to the nitrogen pool, hence the internal amino acid reserve. Not to mention the fact that the most medicinal compounds in plants are alkaloids, right? And so these are the bitter herbs, which is what most of the medicinal herbs are. And these are all nitrogen, if we talk about the pigments, all of the pigments are amino acid structures. All of the pigments are amino acid
What?
structures. Absolutely. So there's no such thing as melanin or chlorophyll without amino acids. These are amino acid structures.
So what is an
So
amino acid then?
an amino acid is basically a combination of like pre-ammonia, right? So ammonia's nitrogen, ammonia's NH3, right? So pre-ammonia is like NH2. So nitrogen and hydrogen. And then you have your COOH, which is what is that?
Carboxylic acid.
Carboxylic acid. Boom. So you got your carboxylic acid and your amine group or your pre-ammonia group, and you put those together, and then depending on the side chain or the reactive end of it, you have different types, but those are the base. That's the basics of what you got: carboxylic acid and your amine group, which is the reason why the energy cycle in the body is sometimes called the tricarboxylic acid cycle, is because carboxylic acids, hint, hint, wink, wink, the aminos come out of this energy cycle.
So an amino acid is basically just a structure types.
Yeah,
Well, no,
it's just a molecule class. And we call them amino acids because of the functional groups that are in them. And also because it's a very unique class, because you have an acidic portion and you have a basic portion in the same molecule. And so that is also really important too, because again, that goes back to electricity, right? So you have the acid and you have the base. So you have acid
In
and
the
base in
same molecule.
Yeah,
the
you have
same
carboxylic
molecule.
acid and a amine in the same molecule. So most of the time, amino acids exist in what we call a Zwitter ion. So when you have a Zwitter ion, you have something that has basic or a basic charge or a negative charge and a positive charge at the same time. So essentially, the carboxylic acid will donate its proton to the amine. The carboxylic acid portion will be negative, and the amine will be positive. Because remember, the base wants to accept protons. The acid wants to give protons away. So when you have them in the same molecule, depending on what your medium is, depending on what the pH is, that changes the ionic character.
So it
And
sounds
so,
like it's probably like rotating and spinning. It's probably what's happening here.
so you
Well,
do
well,
have
well,
you have
wait,
structures that
wait, wait,
come
wait,
from
wait.
that.
But before you get there, that process of moving around, it gets crazier and crazier when you link a whole bunch of these amino acids together. So,
Ooh.
so that's how you get
The end.
protein folding. You get protein folding based on the charge relationships in, the cytoplasm or the water, right? So you
So
have,
It's a little bit more complicated than that.
It is that, but that's
like
my
super
job.
complicated.
Listen. My job is to continuously simplify. You go into the textbook, and I simplify the textbook. Go ahead.
So actually, so we're gonna go back to water again.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Water is the thing that drives all protein folding dynamics. Period. And the reason why is it's really thermodynamics. So you have
Thermodynamics.
Wait. Yo, I love when he goes to the Google demons quietly. I love when I hear the keyboard lighten up.
So protein folding is driven by water. And so even though amino acids, right, they have this basic and acidic character, right? When you put them together, they actually are not very charged one way or the other. They tend to be very hydrophobic. When the hydrophobic means water fearing, so they don't want to be around like a lot of water, right? And even with some of the side chains, a lot of the structural proteins in the way that they're made with side chains that are like non-polar. So they don't really want to interact with anything that's charged. They don't want to interact with anything that's polar. So they prefer to interact with each other. So when proteins are constructed, when they begin to fold, you have all of these water molecules, because you have to remember that your cells are 70% water. They have all these water molecules that as the protein is coming out, the water molecules kind of start to aggregate around them, right? That's a product of the environment. As the protein gets bigger, it starts to recognize that there's other amino acids around it that have a charge that's more similar to them than it is to water. So they start to aggregate and fold on top of each other, and they push water away. So water, the loss of water, the loss of the transient bonding of water on a protein, and the protein or the amino acids linking or having these electrostatic interactions with each other is actually what drives protein folding. You liberate a large amount of water from being trapped on top of the protein, and it gets to go back out into the cell. So that's what we call an entropic contribution. So you have two things that you have to worry about when you worry about
Usually
thermodynamics.
all of those hydrophobic ends wind up. This is part of the magic of protein folding. Usually all of those hydrophobic ends wind up somehow tucked onto the inside of the end product of the so it neatly tucks all those ends onto the inside every single time with in a world where there's literally like a zillion different imaginable and unimaginable different shapes that the biology produces from amino acids. Every single time it's done the same with precision.
Which is what makes enzymes really interesting, because you'll have this large hydrophobic area, but on the inside of the pocket you have these different amino acids that are carrying out different reactions. So you have this large outer shell, you have this pocket that things can come into, and on the inside you have aminos that are different. Could be polar, they could be acidic, they could be basic, that facilitate different organic chemistry reactions. Then they get kicked out of and then we call that the active site, because a large portion of the protein is not active. A large portion of the protein is purely structural, allows proteins to exist in different compartments. But inside of that protein, you have an active site that actually carries out your catalytic reactions.
And then the amino acids have their own personalities and do their own thing. Like they got, you got ketogenic, glucogenic, aromatic, like you got all of these different types of, amino acids and so when you bring them together in the combinations of nucleic acids, peptides, proteins, pigments, ion channels, gap junctions, you name it.
Aquaporins.
Aquapor is a zillion different types of, it facilitates a lot of different types of exchanges, whether these are electric exchanges, water exchanges, chemical reactions.
Prions?
Okay, no, stop pressing those buttons. Don't type on the keyboard again. Don't. Yeah. He just went to mad cow disease. Like what? He just went to mad cow disease on like yeah, he just went to biology Tourette's on us. Like prion. Yeah, we not at prions.
Okay, we a little too ahead.
Yeah, we not at prions.
All right, so let's go back. How many different types of proteins are there?
Proteins? A
Yeah.
zillion.
Yeah, there's a lot.
What?
Yeah. No, yeah. You rephrased that. You meant how many types of amino acids, correct?
No, proteins.
No. There's no way to quantify that. There's no
Really?
answer.
There's proteins that we don't know that we don't know. That's how
Yeah.
many there are.
Yeah. There's
What?
no such thing as that.
So the amino acids is just every combination you could think of, and try to type in to calculate the different combinations. It's just astronomical at that point.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and plus you have to think about too that, there's proteins that are made in our bodies that are not made in other animals and vice versa.
Yeah. I was just about to say, you could probably limit it inside of a human, or like if you go how many in the human species, well, you could calculate possibilities based on the amount of amino acids and the amount of codons we have, right, for programs in the DNA, and you could run some numbers and you could come up with some equations. But if you then factor in all of the different species on land, all the different species in the air, all the different species in the water, and then you factor in the fact that we don't even know all of the species in the land, air, and water, like it's
then all the microbes that are living on you and in you.
that's what it's no way to think of that number.
The Google demons have they've basically said, shut up, you stupid. Yeah, they said, that this is a great question that delves into the immense possibilities of protein structure. And they basically told me, I can't do that calculation, dog. That is
there's no
so it says the number of possible sequences is 20, and then it has the little caret. What does that mean? The little point
magnitudes, like
magnitudes.
Exponent up there,
the exponent of n. So I know once you put the letter in there, that means we don't know what the fuck's going on, right?
Correct. Because the variables we don't. So you can't. It's possible. It's possible to calculate it, but we don't even know the numbers that we would need to plug into the equations to calculate it.
Right.
Yeah.
It says for a short protein of just 4 amino acids, it's 20 to the 4th. So that's 160,000. It says for 100 amino acid protein, there is 20 to the 100th possible sequences, which is a number so vast, it's incomprehensible.
Right. And then when we say the term protein really breaks down to amino acid structures. So you can have a protein that might be, like 10 amino acids, hypothetically, versus another protein that has so many amino acids you can't even count them. You just gotta weigh the protein. You know what I'm saying? So it could be made out of, there's really no way to
Damn. So
there's no way to calculate.
Damn. So when we talk about building muscle and we saying we need protein, do we even know what we talking about? Is this definitive?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
That's kind of.
Here's my problem with the conversation about building muscle and protein.
Here we go.
No. It's cool, because you need protein to build muscle, right? Cool. But most people.
But which protein?
No. Before we get there, most people in America do not have a problem of getting enough protein. Most people in America are consuming too much protein. That's number one. There's not even a question of which protein yet. It's just way too much protein.
Yeah.
Right? Now, outside of that, right, it's protein for what? Right? Because the bigger conversation is not that you need protein to build muscle, right? It's that you need protein to build your heart, your liver, your diaphragm, your spleen,
But
your
that's
kidneys.
not getting me no more chicks. The chicks want to see muscle. Okay.
Nah, 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 nah. That's not true because chicks, if we're gonna get to the nitty gritty, chicks want to see one main muscle, and so that main muscle is not performing well because we're
Because of your heart.
ignoring we're ignoring the smooth muscle, right? Because if we're thinking like if we reduce sexual function down to circulation, which a lot of people do. I'm gonna get me a Viagra or Cialis because my circulation, and or I'm gonna go get me some grapeseed or herbal extracts and whatever, because we circulation. We're forgetting that circulation is based on muscle. Your
Okay.
blood vessels are muscle. So you have skeletal muscle, you have cardiac muscle, and then you have smooth muscle. Smooth muscle is what's the basis of all of your big arteries and your real strong blood flow. So
Ah.
so even regardless to what type of healing we're talking about, we still have to have the amino acids. And here's where the problem comes in at. Because we've been told that these are non-essential amino acids, the context of that makes people believe that they're not important.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, we have an epidemic of metabolic disease, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem is if we don't understand that these non-essential amino acids are the most essential to our healing and longevity, right? And we don't understand that they come from the energy cycle.
Mm.
So if we're having, like for instance, a diabetic has a problem with his energy cycle. So if a diabetic has a problem with his energy cycle, guess what? The diabetic is not producing enough non-essential amino acids to repair his tissues. If an obese person is dealing with insulin resistance means they're not getting enough substrates into the mitochondria for the mitochondria to do its thing. Well, if the mitochondria doesn't do its thing, again, we have a background problem of not enough non-essential amino acids to build and heal the tissues. This is why people that have metabolic illness also age faster. The reason they're aging faster is because the non-essential amino acids that keep their tissues looking young are not being produced at the right rate. So
Mm.
people with metabolic disease age faster, and people that drink a lot of alcohol age faster because the liver is the other place where these non-essential amino acids is being made at. So if the liver has a problem, you don't have the renewing of the tissue. So so this is why, like I said, clarity has to be made from the holes Dr. Sabi left because it goes right from those holes to the muscle builders who are only concerned with, leucine and, pumping up mTOR activity so that they can, get, gains, you know what I'm saying? And so John Q. Public, who just wants to be healthy, who just wants to feel good, they don't realize that they need these non-essential, amino acids. They need this non-essential amino acid production. And people, there's no discussion of that.
I was so it's interesting. We talking about blood flow and muscles and erections and stuff. I saw an article floating
That
on the
just sounded
timeline today.
crazy. That sounded
You know what? I was sitting
that
there just trying
sounded
to figure out a
crazy.
way to like say it where it wasn't pause worthy, and there was no way to say it, so I just had to just go ahead and let it fly. But anyway, I think Ajax actually posted it. There's a study that was floating around on the timeline that showed that men that had more muscle mass on their body, people that were just more muscular in general, had stronger erections. And again, it goes to if if you look at how much your muscle is being rebuilt, I mean, it will also make sense that your strong muscle or your smooth muscle is being rebuilt too. So, if you're focusing on um, building muscle and like having enough protein to do that, then I mean, it also kind of makes sense too that your smooth muscle is you're going to be able to repair it better too, and you're going to have stronger blood flow.
Well, it's a trickle down effect because you get with the exercise. So exercise increases blood flow.
Right.
Along with the simpler aspects of increased blood flow, you get certain biochemical effects that's not necessarily always present. So you get a much more pronounced, you know, nitric oxide system, right? You get a much more active nitric oxide system. Not only more natural nitric oxide produced, but a much better nitric oxide system. More nitric oxide synthase, um, your endothelial cells get more activity, so they're getting more exercise,
Absolutely.
right? And it's those cells that have to read the signals from the nerves as well as the myokines and cytokines to open up the vessels for more blood flow. You know, the communication has to come from the kidney to the bone marrow to produce more red blood cells while you're exercising. So there's a lot of different things that goes on to facilitate, you know, like what the common folks just thinking of as the pecs or the six pack. You know what I'm saying? When we thinking of pecs and six pack, there's a lot of biochemical reactions that's happening to, you know, when you push the body doing your calisthenics, your jogging, your, you know, your long walks, your calisthenics, your weightlifting, your
Having
pull-ups,
sex.
your having sex. Well, I can't, you know, if you're doing it the right way, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
You got to be putting in work.
You got to be working up a sweat. You know, you got to get some sweat equity. You know, you got to get some non-drug induced sweat equity, right? You know what I'm saying? Because nowadays, it's, you know, pills are everywhere. There's a lot of pills going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so that doesn't really count. You know what I'm saying? The Viagra and the Cialis, folks. Um, what I do like to mention though in that space is that Cialis was created to be a heart medicine. Cialis was created to be a heart medicine, and
It's actually Viagra, but because Cialis is
is
the
it
original
Viagra?
Yeah, it's Viagra. Cialis is
Viagra
the
was made to
original
be a
Viagra.
heart medicine, and well, they kind of copycat one and two,
Yeah.
saying, but yeah, these penis pills will just do that. They were designed initially for heart medication to help with blood flow and nitric oxide production and take pressure off the heart and help folks with, you know, and it didn't really work so well for the intended purpose, but the extra blood flow was amazing for, you know, for the
Yeah.
capillaries, you know, for the capillaries.
Yeah.
And
For that
the
smooth
thing
muscle.
is, but on the flip side, using those things as a crutch, you know, we forget that we have capillaries in other places that may be suffering, right? So let's say, for instance, as a man,
Kevin Samuels.
let's say, for instance, we don't even got to go Kevin Samuels. He you know, he's no longer here. But let's say, as a man, you using, you know, you not having a salute like you should be, right? As a man, and we thinking naturopathically, right? That's supposed to be a symptom. That's supposed to be a sign that you potentially have cardiovascular disease.
That's the check engine light.
That's not, yeah, that's the check engine light. That's not supposed to be used as a commercial tool to say, oh, it's time to re-up on your pills. Right? That's supposed to, you're supposed to know, oh, that's cardiovascular disease right there.
Okay.
So I can go get some sex pills and still enjoy myself. But if I ignore the fact that my capillaries is closing, chances are 6 months from now or 3 years from now, when the pills no longer work because the capillaries is closed off, not only may I have to get my foot amputated, but I may have to get my entire penis amputated and replaced with a fake penis.
Whoa.
So there's a lot of men walking around right now that have fake penises.
What?
there's a lot of men walking around right now with fake penises. I was talking about the fake penises for a while, and it's kind of rough to talk about this subject matter. You know what I'm
They
saying?
got a fake dick. The fuck?
Well, there's a lot of men with fake penises. There's a lot of men with fake penises.
Wow.
Because they had to get them amputated. So
Can you work? Can you hit her with the backstroke with that thing?
with the fake penises?
Yeah.
Fake penises work better than the real ones.
Oh shit.
For the woman's pleasure, anyway. Yeah, for the woman's pleasure. But
I mean, they gotta have something for the studs, man. The studs pioneered all this. Like,
Damn.
it's rough out there. Bro.
What it look like? Do it look like a regular, or is it?
Now that was crazy. I don't care what I said in the past. That right there is crazy right there. You better hope that them clip editors like that right there. Yo, Cat Williams' voice. This shit right here. This shit right here. Like that's a wild sequence right there. Yeah. Please, none of HJ Ops clip that right there. That was crazy right there.
that was severely out of pocket.
And said, what does the synthetic schlongs look like?
Is it a sausage looking thing? Is it,
No, they look regular, like however you've been looking before they put it in. What they do is they do a surgery and they take out your insides and fill it up with machinery.
Oh.
So yeah, you could be, slightly longer when they put the fake joint in, or you can maintain what you had, and it'll be like, you can keep it like anonymous. You know what I'm saying? Like,
so she won't even know you got RoboCop.
She won't even know you got that. She won't even know you got that. You can keep it anonymous.
Which one of you niggas in here got RoboCop? Pause.
Bro, trust me. Depending on how many people is watching the live, there's definitely some men with the fake joints running around. Period. Especially when you get into the men over 50. It's a bunch of men. Like when you see the men over 50, when you see the men over 60 with the six pack, a lot of them got the fake program. That's a part of the synthetic universe. Yeah, that's a part of the synthetic universe. So a lot of these people that's on the internet talking about, and they coming with the AI synthetic and the cyborg, blah blah blah. What are you talking? You already a cyborg. What are you talking about? You already got the fake program. Get your butt out of here.
So the TRT niggas might got the fake meat.
Oh, absolutely. Because they have the incentive. The TRT folk, the main incentive for men to go on TRT is the program failure. You know what I'm saying? Like most people they don't care about muscles. We wouldn't have the health. This country wouldn't be struggling for health, like at the bottom of the barrel as the sickest country in the world if we cared about muscle tissue. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. We care about feeling good. We're a drug society. We want to feel good. So we care about sex. We care about sex. And we only care about sex when we can no longer have it. So at that point, we need to get a fix.
The drug society statement is really crazy too. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's just all,
EnQi's 100% right, man. We do live in a drug society, and it's crazy because the drugs are like an emergency. Like when you got to be placed on medication, especially because most of the time you come out, you get on medication, you don't get off of it. When you walk into a hospital and they put you on medication for something, like most of the time you're not coming off of it. Not only are you not coming off of it, you're probably going to get 2 or 3 more after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the first drug is going to create some side effects, and you're going to need some. It's just like, for instance, if you have high blood pressure, right, and they go, okay, you got cholesterol problems, so here, take this statin drug, right? So now the statin blocks out your cholesterol production. Now, the problem with that is you need cholesterol for a variety of things. You need cholesterol for vitamin D. So now you got to go on clinical vitamin D prescription. Then you need cholesterol to produce testosterone. So now you got to go on TRT. You got to go on TRT now because you don't have the substrate to produce testosterone, right? You don't have the substrate to produce, DHEA and DHT. There's a bunch of estrogen suffers. Like there's a bunch of stuff that, you're going to need replacements for.
So you have to think, when you think about like medicine as a whole, right?
Okay.
So if you think about it from the aspect of healing, none of it makes sense. But when you think about it from the aspect of a marketer or a salesman, everything makes sense, because what do we try to do at checkout? We try to upsell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Come on now.
We give you that first one. It's like, hey, so why don't you just add this one on there?
Come
But
on
you
now.
have to add it on there because the first thing that we gave you, it's almost like it's like a subscription. Like
We
got
need a subscription. We in a
service now.
subscription economy, yeah.
That's that. So when you think about it from the marketing and sales aspect, everything in medicine makes sense. Like
listen.
Top to the bottom of the chain.
Here's where we can't here's where we can't blame Big Pharma, right? Medical doctors never claim to be anything but medical doctors.
Yeah.
The problem is that the uninformed public goes to a medical doctor and asks the medical doctor to be responsible for their nutrition. They go to the medical doctor and ask the medical doctor to be responsible for their diet. They go to the medical doctor and have the medical doctor trying to answer exercise questions. Medical doctors don't know anything about nutrition because that's not a part of medicine. That's why we have in our society medical doctors, and then we also have nutritionists. That's why the nutritionist is separate from the medical doctor. The dietitian is separate from the nutritionist and the medical doctor, which to me is the most insane. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Why is there such thing as a dietitian and a nutritionist? Are you telling me that the dietitian doesn't know nutrition? Like that is. Then you have the personal trainer or the exercise therapist who's separate from the nutritionist, the dietitian, so all of these things are separate. We have to understand that part. Like, as the consumer, we gotta, buyer beware. If you fall down off your skateboard, bust your head, you need stitches, you gotta go get stitches. You can't go see an herbalist for stitches. You know what I'm saying? Like, you as the person have to know what it is that you're after and go to the right person. My dad told me, don't let a plumber fix your car. Don't let a mechanic fix your toilet. We have a lot of that going on because, again, uninformed being educated by the misinformed.
So let's go back. Let's go back. All right. So so-and-so's person's phallus is not rising to the occasion. This indicates an issue with some heart issues. So what do we do to improve our heart circulatory and overall cardio health to make sure that, we rise to the occasion properly?
Start taking those Dr. EnQi classes.
I respect it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because otherwise, it's an incomplete answer that's a patch. Everything else is a patch. Anything besides learning is a patch, right? You can go exercise and eat better, right?
Straight to the grift. He went straight to the grift.
No, listen. I did, but it's the actual answer because everything else is incomplete, right? This is why we have a society that.
What book is it? What book is it?
No, all of them. It's all of them. Listen,
nigga, it's this one right here, right? The memory bank. It's got to be one of these. I can't read all these fucking books, nigga. It's taking me forever to get through one. Which fucking book, nigga? Goddamn. This nigga got me reading 30 books. I can't get through one page. He talking about I got another book. Nigga, I ain't finished the one I got last year yet. Talking about you dropped another book, nigga. You done dropped 8 books in 2 weeks, nigga. Which book is it, nigga? Which one's the dick hard book, nigga? Like,
right now, we gotta
pause, yo, this is going off the rails, man.
I'm frustrated.
Wow. Listen, there's a lot of men that's saying the same thing. That's usually right before they go get the Viagra or the Cialis. That's exactly what they said. Their wives saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the problem
Sorry,
is,
cat.
look, we got the most people in our country spend the most money on supplements, the most money on over the counter stuff,
Yeah.
and we have the lowest, like, we got
I
the most expensive medical system, the most expensive education system, and our people still the unhealthiest. So everything is out there except for a focus on information. It's like everybody want the microwave. You don't want to learn your body, because the truth is every single person's body is different. Every single person body is different. So you really got to learn your body. That's number one. And you also got to learn about the different foods. You got to learn about different exercises. You got to learn about the changes that these exercises make to your body.
yeah.
And then you got to be able to apply it, because not only are all our bodies different, but all of our goals are different. Even our interpretations of things that we think mean the same thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get healthier. Well, if I'm a 300-pound man, getting healthier just means losing weight. If I'm 180-pound basketball player, I play ball 4 or 5 days a week, and I say I'm trying to get healthier, that ain't got nothing to do with losing weight. If I lose any more weight, that might make me unhealthier. Like just, we just say these things that I'm trying to get healthy, like, even, but so everything is nuanced. The only thing that you could blanketly suggest to everybody that everybody needs in order to get healthier is information, knowledge.
All right. Thank you. We got Sauce the Prophet. He said he got 10 books in his cart. 10 Dr. EnQi books in his cart.
Let's go, Sauce
Nine
the
said
Prophet.
he got
Let's go.
$700 worth of EnQi books in his cart. He gonna need a second job, nigga. You gonna
Let's
die?
go.
You gonna
Let's
die?
go.
Niggas gonna be dead before they get the information.
No. That's absolutely incorrect, because there's a well-documented science where they have broken down what they call micro lives.
Micro lives.
Micro lives. You might hit the Google demons. This is important, because micro lives is exactly what your doctors are talking about when your doctors give you a prognosis. Doctors' prognoses are based on a lot of different
Micro
variables.
lives or microorganisms are
No.
tiny living
That's the wrong
things
thing.
too small. No?
No, that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing. Micro lives are segments of your life, and they have used this to basically quantify probability. So they can say, you'll reduce your life potentially by X amount of years if you pick up the habit of smoking cigarettes. On the flip side, if you pick up the habit of, I don't know, eating fruit, or, going jogging, you'll extend your
Add 5
life.
years back to your life. You extend
Right.
you extend your heart age by 10 years, stuff
Correct.
like that.
So by learning how your body actually works, instead of driving a vehicle with no understanding of the vehicle, you potentially are going to extend your life tremendously. So you will definitely create the time that you need to read all those books in your cart.
I'll say this too about like micro lives, and I've never heard it expressed in that way.
And
but
hopefully you
it
can
is,
tell
like,
us about cardio health while we try to get a second job to afford all of EnQi
I
books.
can't cut my brother Grift out like that. I'll say a little bit. The body is extremely resilient, and a lot of the things that we do to our bodies on a daily basis, and a lot of the things that ways we beat our bodies up and don't take care of them, our bodies are always there for us, right? And even after
Always.
years and years and years and years of abuse, you can go all in on health, and for like a year or two, and you add so much more time back to your life. You add so much more time back.
Really?
Yes, you really do. And so that's why, like, a lot of people saw it tied in with like COVID, right? a lot of people, trip about the vaccines, and my family, this guy got vaccinated, these kids got vaccinated, blah blah blah. And what I try to explain to them is that, like, yeah, okay, we all know the vaccine was bad. Yes, there are a subset of people in the population that are going to have heart issues, right? Or are going to have like other inflammatory issues, things like that. This mRNA is so I mean it keeps producing the spike protein. But what you have to understand is that the body wants to heal. The body does not want to stay sick. Anything that your body does that is portrayed as quote unquote sickness is your body trying to get back to an optimal state. Your body is not trying to kill you. And I think too many people think about our bodies in that context when we feel pain, or when we feel some kind of discomfort. That's your body letting you know, hey, I need help. It's not your body saying, hey.
It's even worse than that. We have been trained against the pain signal. That is a big problem. That's a big problem right there, because the pain signal works on multiple levels. The pain signal is a signal not only to you, but also to your heart and your brain from whatever area you feel the pain, so that your body can send the things required to get the healing going in that area. If you cut the pain signal, you cut the speed of healing. They done did tests on this. Painkillers, can slow down the healing, and depending on how complicated the level of healing you need, like you may not want to, like painkillers are not really conducive to healing. Again, we in a society where everything is about feel good.
Yeah.
Or even like things that break your fever, right? Your fevers are an internal signal for your body to turn on aspects of your immune system.
Facts.
And to also stop whatever is in your body from replicating. So like all of these, when you start to suppress these things, you're starting to suppress the natural things that your body was built with to take care of itself. And that's like part of the problem.
Wait. Go back to that. Make that plain for people. If you have an infection and you have bacteria, a fever is stopping that bacteria from replicating. If you should go to Rite Aid, if you should go to CVS and get something to break that fever, you will be allowing the bacteria to replicate and spread through your body. Like you will be directly working against your body being able to heal itself.
But what if they said your body get too hot, you're gonna die?
Hold on.
It's so rare that actually.
Wait. Before you get there, Tanei, because Tanei fires right back out of the tank. Sometimes you gotta address some of these concepts. You gotta go, who is they? When he says, but they said, we gotta get the who is they. Who said that?
My 5th grade science teacher said you gonna die when your body get too hot, your brain start cooking.
Yeah, we gotta stop that.
So that's not a thing. So your body will not overheat.
That's not a thing. It's possible, but that's not a thing in reality. In reality, you'll die a lot sooner from the bacteria replicating and shutting down your immune system and your organs and your glands before you get too hot. Like, yeah, so.
Because that's what they said. We got to bring down the fever. It's getting way too hot. The body's supposed to be 98.7, and then he's at 110. We got to bring the fever down. That's what the doctors say.
Yeah, and there's a difference between adult care and infant care, right? So with infants, you got to be a lot more mindful of these things than adults. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So let's say we're dealing with infant care. We got to bring the thing down.
Right. You gotta. Well, with an infant, the idea is
their immune system isn't even like fully developed yet.
Not even that. You also have to think about water.
I was just about to say.
There's less water.
Right, and not just water, and the misconception that infants don't have complete immune systems. That's a misconception. Right? And the reason why I say it's a misconception is it's not incorrect, it's just out of context, right? A baby is supposed to be sharing the immune system of its mother.
Through the suckling of the breast through breastfeeding.
So because we have created, all these synthetic,
Oh, there's a
so
disconnect.
so now that so a bulk of the baby's immune system
Wow.
comes from the baby coming through the birth canal. That's number one.
Right.
So when the baby goes C-section instead of coming through the birth canal, the
Damn.
baby doesn't have the same type of immune
Yup.
system. Then the second part is when the baby goes on bottle milk as opposed to breast milk. The baby doesn't have the same. So now when you combine the fact that you have babies that are C-section that are on bottle milk, that baby has but that's almost like a, I can't say voluntary because a lot of women don't know that they have a choice and how they prepare to get pregnant and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of their choices lead to them having quote unquote preeclampsia. And then the doctors say, we got to take the baby right now because preeclampsia is inflammation. And then they say, well, how do you clear preeclampsia? And they say, well, the way to cure preeclampsia is just to pull the baby out right now. Don't worry about it. And so they don't realize that situation where you don't have any choice is usually brought about by a whole bunch of choices you made up until that point.
But then you also have to realize too that in the hospital, babies are being birthed by surgeons. Surgeons want to cut, so they don't want to let things happen naturally. So like that's why they have like the birthing centers that allow women to go through days of labor because
they want to cut to get a cut.
Facts.
They want to cut to get a cut. The more cutting, the larger
the
their
more
cut.
the hospital gets cuts of that. Yep. They get you coming in, they get you going out. It's real nasty business.
Then they get to sell the tissue that you leave in there that you think to get rid of. Like, clean this up. Like they're gonna sell that material.
Yeah.
So
Oh Jesus, I'm getting a stomach ache out here.
But so back to the baby's immune system though. So now when we get to the baby, innocent baby, and it's like baby doesn't have immune system, it's because we forgot we made a lot of these choices already. It's not that babies are intrinsically born into this dangerous world and God somehow or infinite intelligence somehow left these babies without a way to fight like that we wouldn't get here as people. We wouldn't have made it this long if babies were just these vulnerable class of it's
babies
choices.
and then there's British Empire babies. If you've had a British Empire baby, then your baby might be a little fucked up.
Well, listen, if you have the information, going back to the books, going back to the study, if you have information, you can make better decisions. If you don't have information,
then you have a British Empire baby.
Listen, one day I was in Philly, and this was traumatic for me. I'm in Philly at the time. I'm living in Philly.
Well, being in Philly is pretty traumatic, so I find
No. Philly's a beautiful place. But the crazy thing is just so many things that made this so literally I'm waiting for a bus and I'm across the street from the head biochemist place for fast food companies in America. It's literally located in Philly where they make all of the chemicals for the food at. And so it's a lady right there. Now I'm over there because this is downtown Philly. Most people don't even know what's in this building. So that's just a sidebar. Like it just so happened to coincidentally happen right there.
Some
but anyway,
unknown, nondescript building.
Boom. So the halal joint is right there where they make the falafel sandwiches and all that. So I'm waiting on the bus. I'm like, okay, I'm about to go get me a little falafel sandwich. You know what I'm saying? And so while I'm waiting, a lady behind me, pregnant, she like, you talking too long. And because I'm telling the dude, before he make my sandwich, I need him to like hit the whole clean the grill. Like, hold on, bro, before you got to clean the grill for me, bro. You got to treat me like a brother. This ain't halal. This ain't kosher. This is terrible. You cooking all kind of. I need you to clean the grill before you make my. So anyway, she's like, I'm pregnant. I'm hungry, and I'm waiting for bus. You got to hurry up, sir. Blah blah blah. You could just make mine. So anyway, we go into a little thing, and of course, I let her skip me, do the gentleman thing and all that. I get out the way, she do her thing. We both go into the bus stop. Anyway, this pregnant lady spark up a cigarette. So I gotta jump off the top rope in full minister mode. At the time, I'm not a doctor yet. You know what I'm saying? I gotta jump off the top rope in full minister mode. Like, hold on, hold on. How you gonna smoke? You can't smoke. You don't know me, but listen. I can't have you smoking a cigarette next to me pregnant. Like somebody might see me. Forget about like you or your baby right now, ma'am. You cannot do that next to me. She's like, well, who is you? So now we having this whole conversation. I'm like, you killing your baby, right? Oh, well, no. My doctor said it's safe for me to smoke these cigarettes because my baby's already fully developed and blah 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 blah. I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel. You see what I'm saying? Like, so these are concepts that are out there. And so these are the women that are having the babies. Another time I was on the train, a woman gave her baby Pepsi in the baby bottle, right? She gave her baby Pepsi in the baby bottle. You know, straight Pepsi out of the can into the baby bottle. You know what I'm saying? And the baby drank it without having a belch or anything. So that means the baby used to drinking sodas. Like, so when we say that the babies don't have immune systems, it's out of context because your baby's supposed to have immune system. You're building the baby's immune system in the womb. The baby's cells are replicating within the mother's body. You know, the mother is the factory of the immune system. The baby comes out, baby comes down the vaginal canal, gets a whole bunch of external microbiome, you know, to protect the outside of the body. Then the baby's getting the breast milk loaded with all kind of immune factors from mom's bone marrow to protect the inside of the baby's body. And yeah, so baby's supposed to have the crazy bulletproof vest, super, you know, bulletproof suburban, you know, like, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, the baby's supposed to have a super immune system, but C-section on top of infamil,
Right.
on top of,
All right.
you know,
So, all right.
we
So,
sliding. Hold on. We sliding baby chewed up French fries. Like, no. It goes crazy. You know what I'm saying? We go into McDonald's chewing up the McDonald's and give it to, you know, General Tso's
we get
chicken.
the
You know,
idea, Iggy. We got it, man. We get the idea. It's child abuse. But we
man.
got it. You know, we done went down one of them side channels and segues.
My bad.
We was
Some things is worth the time to drill home.
We did. We beat that up. Pause. Let's come back to what we was talking about. Fevers. How did we even get on fevers?
Because we were talking about how we can go against our own immune system's natural reaction.
Right.
You know, to heal the body.
So there is no such thing as a fever gonna burn you up. That's part of a natural immune response.
It's not that there's no such thing. It's just
super rare.
It's far fetched.
It's far fetched. Okay.
It's like somebody dying from drinking water.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, if you search the history of the earth, you know, you can find, you know, 2 or 3 people in the history of the earth that died from drinking too much water.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But in reality, you know, you can try to drink as much water as you can. It's not gonna.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Because again, you have to realize, like we said earlier, your body's not trying to kill you. So like your body is not dumb enough to say, hey, like, I turn the heat up. Oh, I don't know how to turn the heat up. It's like, no, that doesn't happen. Like there are definitely regulatory checkpoints and all these things that tell your body what temperature to go to in order to facilitate healing with your body, to release, you know, certain healing molecules from your immune system, while also stopping the replication of whatever the microbe is in your body that's causing the infection.
You know, it's the same philosophy as chemo, you know. The philosophy of chemo is that the chemotherapy will kill the cancer cells off way sooner than it will kill the healthy cells off. And your healthy cells will be able to repopulate. It's the same thing your body's doing with raising the heat up. It's raising the heat up like, okay, we're going to knock off these bacterial cells way before we knock off the human cells.
Yeah.
And then your body will be able to go back to normal business.
Mm-hmm.
But When it's your body's normal process, we need to stop it by any means necessary. When it's a synthetic process, we kind of need to promote it, market it, and make sure everybody's getting some. It's just
So
it's
somebody in
crazy.
the chat is asking, how much is too high for a fever? And I got some more questions. That I told them, I said, man, go ask the Google Demons. They said Google Demons say 103, 104, and they said, what does EnQi say? What does Dr. Tanei say?
Most of the time, when you start getting like
Nobody's
the 104, 105 range, you kind
Wait,
of want to worry a little
nobody's
bit.
gonna die. Oh, nobody's
But
dying from 103 fever
you're
unless you
not
got some
dying.
other.
No,
Yeah,
you're definitely
unless you
not
got some
dying.
other stuff going on. Like nobody's dying from 103.
Yeah,
Those,
you're not dying from it.
yeah,
No.
those Google
No.
demons are trolling. Just let me say that. That's crazy right there.
You kind of just want to watch and just like make sure that like nothing else is going on. I mean, it's not a danger zone. It's more like a check engine than it is like how sometimes you drive in your car, you got the engine light, and then the engine light start blinking. It ain't blinking yet. It's just the engine light is just on. It's like, all right, make sure you watch this. We doing our thing. We
But but
good for right
but,
now.
but here's what I would say is important, right? If people want to have something practical to walk away from this convo with something in their back pocket.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a fever, if your child has a fever, that is a opportunity for you to get some good stuff into your body or your child's body because that's an indicator of
Process.
potentially infection.
Mm-hmm.
So at that moment, instead of necessarily focusing on the fever, what you want to do is supply your body with all the tools it needs so that your immune system can go and kill the threat. That's how you naturally get rid of the fever. Kill the bacteria.
Yeah.
Get rid of the virus. Like
Pay,
get rid of the ops. Then you don't have a reason to have a fever. That's
pay
that's
attention to what the signal is telling you. Like the
yeah,
signal is there for a reason. Pay attention to the signal. Just
yeah.
like if you were driving and you saw the lights getting ready to change from yellow to red, you know what that means. Slow down, then stop. So you know
Because
what the signals are telling you. So just do what the signals are telling you.
yeah, because a different person is going to have a different immune response. So say for instance, we got two identical children or two identical adults. Everything is the same. They both get exposed to the same infection. Now, the only thing different in these two people, person A, person B, is person A has high levels of zinc. They have high levels of circulating glutathione. Or if we go to the conversation earlier and we talk about sulfur, their NRF2 system is loaded. They have, well formed keep one molecules and so their immune system is on fleek.
Mm.
Person B, keep one molecules are low, sulfur is low, glutathione is low, zinc is low. All of these different things that are part of the immune response are low, right? Well, when they get a fever, person B's fever is going to last way longer and possibly last long enough to become dangerous because there's no bite behind the bark, right? A fever to an infection is a bark. That is changing the environment of the bacteria or virus to stop or slow down replication to give your immune system a better chance to kill it off, neutralize it, denature it if it's a virus, push it into the lymphatic system, quarantine it, like do the things that your immune system is supposed to do, whether it's B cells, T cells, macrophages, whatever, right? If your system doesn't have a robust response during the fever has to last longer and longer and longer, and you have a higher risk that you wind up needing to go to the hospital, for medication because you scared, you panic, and the fever's not going down after a day or two, as opposed to, like I said, somebody whose body has all of the resources that it needs to fight off invaders. So literally, if you have fever, that's the time for you to you want to kind of make sure your body has all those things. Like you don't want to fight the fever, you want to fight the infection.
Right.
Like
All
a
right,
lot
so,
of us are trained to fight the fever as opposed to fighting the infection. We're not fighting the bad guy. We got
right.
to focus on fighting the bad guy.
We got it. No matter how many times you say it, we got it. Nikki.
Yeah. You'd be surprised though. People don't have it. That's why we in the condition we in. Like you be surprised. You know what I'm saying?
This nigga sound like Dr. Umar now.
Dr. Umar repeats himself for a reason. You know? Dr. Umar repeats himself for a reason.
I want to talk to you about diet. I want you to tell me if I'm doing something right or if I'm doing something wrong. So I feel like if I do the fruit smoothie with the kale and the blueberries and all that before, like an hour or two before my protein, I'm providing my body with the things it needs to break down the amino acids and build proteins. Am I doing something right, or should it be in the opposite order? Or does it not matter?
I'm going to say that technically I did not get enough information from you just now to
what information you need? You want to know what's in this movie?
Let me say this.
Okay.
Your body typically has everything it needs to break down. Wait, what protein is it breaking down?
Well, my protein powder has an amino acid profile.
Okay, so protein powder is not protein. So there's no protein in protein powder.
Right, it's
protein
amino
powder
acid.
is right. So there's no breaking down amino acids.
Well, to build the protein.
Your body build. Okay, so here's the thing. So you heard of the thermogenic value of protein. Like they say protein helps your body to metabolize or energy. Right?
Okay.
That's because 99% of the proteins that your body needs, it constructs from scratch. So say for instance, you eat a piece of chicken or a piece of tuna fish or what else do they consider to be clean protein? What turkey, right? Your body has to break that protein down backwards into amino acids before it could rebuild them into whatever your body.
Right.
So the powder is already
broken down,
and your body is already designed to construct
protein from it.
I'm
basically overthinking it.
Overthinking it, definitely. You don't. Just go into your bag. You know what I'm saying?
So no matter what order I do it in, it just doesn't matter what I'm just.
Well, you might be doing too much. You might be doing too much sugar because when you said and stuff, like you kind of like you went.
So I got the coconut water, I got the nanas, I got the blueberries.
You might just be making too much money too. There's some folks that just have sometimes being a little broke will help you go in the right direction. And sometimes folks get to making $75 smoothies and they just, you know what I'm saying? They put raw coconut water. He done got red kale, it might be a little $7 worth of blueberries. Like it might be a little crazy. You know?
Did you say you had bananas and blueberries in there at the same time?
Yeah, I did.
Split those up. So there's actually a little bit of research came out, and it may be insignificant. So you may still be able to mix it and still be fine. But there is an enzyme in bananas that will break down the polyphenols in blueberries. So it will break down the pigment that's in blueberries. I don't know to what extent, and I don't know if it's diet significant.
If he drinks it all right when he makes it, it won't
be as bad. Yeah, it doesn't have enough.
But if he puts it in the fridge, if he tries to save that, then
let it sit.
Yeah,
it'll start to break it down.
You'll be going in the wrong direction.
But I drink my smoothie in like 5 minutes.
But here's the thing, and you're slim. You don't have a lot of body weight, so you don't have to worry about this. But a lot of people just have too much sugar in their smoothie.
Okay. Well, tell me if I got too much sugar in my smoothie. I got the red kale, I got the nanas, we're gonna cut the blueberries back a little bit. What else? I got my Brazil nuts in there. The red kale. Did I mention the red kale? I got the red kale in
You
there.
mentioned the red kale about 7-8 times. The red kale is, we got you. Now you, Dr. Umar, now. Go ahead. We know there's red kale in your. You got to deal with the farmer's market. Like, yo, so when the crate come in, yeah, whole city got to get this from me. He the American gangster, red kale.
So am I doing good in the sugar department with that? Because that's basically it. You know, the coconut water, the red kale, the nanas, the berries. Oh, today I threw 3/4 of a red apple in there. Instead of the blueberries, actually, today. In lieu of the blueberries, I threw a little red apple in there.
You know what? Your smoothie sound good. I would like to see you add like a fifth or a sixth of a red onion in there. I think that'll be good.
You want my breath to stink?
No. Red onions, when you put them in a smoothie like that, red onions add sweetness.
Really?
They don't add bitterness. They don't make your eyes, red onions add pure deliciousness, and they add a whole bunch of different things for your immune system that everything else won't.
Really?
That's why back in Kemet, they put onions in almost, like onions or garlic was in almost every healing protocol.
Really?
Yeah. Now, today, we know that when we go back to the earlier conversation, with the bicarbonates, the sulfur compounds, the glutathiones, all of those things are stimulated by, red onions and allicins and
Just a little bit of red onion.
just a little bit. We don't want an onion smoothie, but just a little bit will push your when you're talking about cardio health, like just adding a little bit of onion to the smoothie turns it into like a cardio tonic. Yeah,
But you
onions
got a
are
stomach
amazing.
for it too. Garlic's really good for it. I think garlic is. So the key with garlic though is that you have to like smash it first, and then that kind of turns on the enzymes that makes the good compounds for you, and you have to let that sit for a little bit, and then you can throw it in there.
You smash it, let it sit.
Yeah, smash it, let it sit for like 3 or 4 minutes, then chop it up, and then.
Why are we letting it sit?
So there's, I forget what the name of the compound is, but there's an enzyme in garlic that is not activated unless the bulb gets damaged. So you have to either smash it or you have to chop it.
Yeah.
But to get the
So
highest
garlic, it
activation,
might be
you smash
easier for you to wrestle with in your food. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to your smoothie, because smoothie is like on the go.
Well, broccoli's a hybrid, Dr. Sabi said. So we not supposed to eat the.
No. You gotta listen. All of that hybrid talk from Dr. Sabi, you gotta throw out.
Another good thing to throw into is oatmeal. So the beta glucans in oatmeal are good for dietary
Oatmeal
fiber.
is GOAT level, period.
Yeah, it's so, and there's been some recent research that's come out that it actually helps with wound healing and your immune response. So people, with people like eczema,
Oatmeal-
burns, things
Oatmeal
like that,
helps
it's
with
pretty good.
everything. Oatmeal helps with everything.
So like oats or
is amazing.
oatmeal? Because I got oats, and
Well,
then there's
oats,
oatmeal.
yeah, just regular steel cut oats, rolled oats.
Well,
My dad always talk about he be drinking oats. He been drinking oats his whole life. This nigga's 185 years old.
Well, you do realize that oatmeal is made out of oats, right? I just want to get that on the record.
Yeah, but you said oatmeal, and I'm just like,
So I just said it as just oats, oatmeal.
Yeah.
okay, oats. All right, I just wanted because I didn't know there was
Oatmeal
a
is
difference.
hot oats, just
Yeah.
for the record.
Oh.
Oatmeal is hot oats.
Hot oats with water, yeah. But you can
Yeah.
put them in there dry, you straight.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
I just wanna make sure.
Listen, anything
So the oats.
anything that causes jellification in your body
Okay.
helps every single biochemical reaction.
Why?
That's good because the gelling process is the most basic anabolic process that you have in your body. So That's one of the things that is powerful about soluble fiber. That's the reason why you need to have these fibers, because they gel. Just like when you have certain types of sea moss, it gels, right? So whenever you have something that's going to cause the water to gel, you're going to have an amplification of hydration. You're going to have an amplification of nutrient delivery. Your microbiome is going to go through the roof. Like
That's good.
all of those things come from the gelling process.
So, all right. What's that? Chia seeds? Chia seeds be gelling in the water.
But let me say this. Yeah, chia seeds too. But let me just say this, because you threw that hybrid, you just jumped off the top rope, but the broccoli is a hybrid. Listen, broccoli is gold level, especially in today's world. You need broccoli. Broccoli helps your body to metabolize estrogen. And right now, everybody is running around with too much estrogen going on, right? So you need broccoli. Dr. Sebi and the whole conversation about hybrids, you have to discard that. What Dr. Sebi was talking about was laboratory made hybrids. Laboratory made hybrids, not necessarily hybrids in general, because again, at the same time as Dr. Sebi was saying, don't eat broccoli because it's a hybrid, he also has spelt on the food list, suggesting for people to consume spelt.
And most citrus fruits are hybrids too. The ones
but wait, I was just about to get to another. He got spelt on there. Spelt's a hybrid, and then watermelon is a hybrid.
Really?
Now, see, that's the game changer, because no black folks is giving up watermelon.
I'm not giving up watermelon. That's not.
Dr. Sebi wasn't even giving up watermelon. So you got to ask, if watermelon is a hybrid, if spelt is a hybrid, why would they still be on the food list if all hybrids are bad? So you got to go with the obvious answer, which is clearly all hybrids are not bad.
So,
right?
Tanei, what was you about to say about this?
I don't know. Just again, all hybrids are not bad, and there's a lot of the citrus fruits that we eat are hybrids. Like they're bitter they're bitter orange hybrids. Lemons, grapefruits, limes, like they're all hybrids.
Yeah.
Of
the
what?
problem is that we're dealing with 50-year-old research that people have fell in love with the romantic concept of the research, as opposed to understanding that Sebi's food list was cutting edge when Sebi came out with the food list in the 70s and the 80s. Just like when Elijah Muhammad and Farad Muhammad came out with their research in 1920, they running around in the 20s and 30s telling folks, yo, focus on that navy bean, we gonna get off the pork, blah blah. That was super revolutionary 100 years ago. They telling folks intermittent fast. Elijah Muhammad invented intermittent fasting.
Yeah, that's true. I've seen it.
He was
I
the
got
first
that
one
book
saying,
upstairs.
listen,
I got a copy of it. I got an original copy.
Try to eat twice a day. And then once you get good at eating twice a day, try to eat once a day. And if you get good at only eating once a day, try to go some days where you don't eat and eat every other day. He was the first person. So these were revolutionary, cutting edge concepts when they were created. But we got to continue to build on the research. We can't say, because we can improve on it, Elijah Muhammad didn't know what he was talking about, but Dr. Sebi didn't know what he was talking about. We just got to go for the time period. That was epic. You know what I'm saying? Like Bob Cousy in the NBA. When Bob Cousy was in the NBA, he was all world, looking amazing. But nobody would pick Bob Cousy for their team in 2025 over Steph Curry. Like that's just not, so we got to realize in 2025 we have a different lens that we can look through at some of these concepts. and provide more clarity.
Now tell me about this song. There's a song my auntie used to sing. She used to say, beans, they're good for your heart. The more you eat them, the more you fart. The more you fart, the better you feel. So eat those beans at every meal. Is that true?
Hold on now. That's okay. So yeah. So first things first.
Okay.
Beans is good for your heart. That is a fact.
Okay.
Now, the more you eat, the more you fart part is not fact.
Okay.
Right? So what happens is our microbiome changes just like our taste buds.
Okay.
Based on what we eat. So if we don't eat a lot of beans, right? When we start eating beans, we're gonna fart a lot, right? Because our body is not really,
tuned to that.
If we start eating beans all the time, that's only gonna last like maybe a month or two, and then you won't have that same reaction to the beans. But the beans will continue to be, like
beneficial for your heart.
Well, the number one most perfect food ever invented on Earth is
what?
Beans. Yeah.
Beans are the number one most. You mean man-made? When you say invented?
No. On Earth, beans are the perfect food.
So basically, you saying water's magic and beans is the perfect food.
Man, Jack and the Beanstalk, here we go. But absolutely, listen.
Wait, like you mean green beans?
Well, see, if we get specific now, then it kind of loses its luster. But if we're talking about pulses, right? We're talking
pulses.
Well, that's what the large category of beans, lentils, peas, all of those go in the category of pulses.
Okay.
So if we're talking about pulses, so when they did the Blue Zone study, right? When they searched the Earth to find the longest living populations on Earth, they found 5 different blue zones, right? And the one thing that was odd about all of the different populations that lived to be healthy at 100 is that they all did it with different ways. So it wasn't like these are 5 populations of vegans, or these are 5 populations of carnivores, or these are 5 people where they never smoked a cigarette or whatever. Like, everything was different in these places. The only one common denominator that all 5 groups of long-living people had in common was beans.
Wow.
Because when you're dealing with beans, it has the perfect blend of resistant starch, fiber, insoluble fiber, soluble fiber, high protein, high pigment content, vitamin, mineral, blah, blah, blah.
What's the best bean? Lima beans?
No, there's no such thing as that.
Okay, we're going to take that off. I hate lima beans, so I'm glad you said that.
There's no such thing as best bean. Like, you get a Nation of Islam people and they come in with the navy bean, but no, there's no best bean.
Oh, there is no best bean.
Yeah, lentils are
legumes.
That's still a broad category, but lentils, chickpeas, you know what I'm saying? Like, all of those split peas. Haitians eat a lot of, like black bean, red bean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the best bean is the bean that you can get reliably and eat consistently.
Boom. Talk that talk. Not to mention that beans
like split peas.
Inexpensive. Beans is inexpensive in the supermarket too. Just for all of those people that say it's expensive to eat healthy. No, it's not. The most healthiest items in the supermarket are the least expensive.
What about green peas? Are those technically beans?
They in the family, but the problem with green peas is most people that eat green peas, at least in black households, they eat canned green peas.
Right. We want to get them frozen.
You want to get them what?
Frozen.
No, sir.
You told me last week to get them in the frozen aisle. Now you telling me no, sir.
No, sir. No, sir. You want to get your beans.
Go in the archives. Boosters, go in the archives. Last week he said freezer section.
No, sir.
I remember.
No, sir.
Chat, back me up.
No,
So
no,
get them
no.
fresh. Get them fresh. You said.
Get them in the bag. When you go get your beans, the beans are in the aisle where the rice is usually. So you got the rice in big bags. It comes in 2 pound bags, 5 pound bags, 10 pound bags. You got the beans right there, usually in the 1 pound bag, 2 pound bag, 10 pound bag.
Mm-hmm.
Get your beans. It just take longer to cook. Beans take a while to cook. So you want to, if you into the sprouting process, you
I
can put
like
them.
green peas.
If you're into the sprouting process, you could do them overnight. Some people do their thing without heat and all that. You know what I'm saying? But you can add some heat to it and cook them relatively
Oh, you gotta hydrate
faster.
them.
Well, if you boiling them, you hydrating them. You know what I'm saying? You whether you soak them or you boil them,
Okay, so
water
soak
is
them. So soak them overnight.
you can do that. Yeah.
Okay,
So
and then
another way you can do it too is that if you don't want to soak them overnight too, if you have a slow cooker, you can rinse them beforehand, put them in your slow cooker. You cook them on low, depending on what kind of slow cooker you have.
Yeah.
I have a 3-well slow cooker, so you can put them in slow. I think this each well is like a quarter, 2 quarts. You put a couple cups in there, and then you can cook them on low overnight, and then most of the time they'll be done in the morning.
wow.
And you just had them joints ready to add to whatever your meal is.
Oh wow, this is fascinating. Okay, all right. So, cause my family, they from the island. You know what I'm saying? So, they call it rice and peas, but technically it's rice and beans.
No, it's okay. So if you're getting into that space, right? So this is where it gets a little. So it's still, it's rice and peas. You have rice and beans and you have rice and peas. Like if you go to a Spanish restaurant, you got arroz y habichuelas, and then you have arroz y gandoles, right? So
Yeah, I
gandoles
don't
is
know what
more
the
like
fuck
your
you're talking
peas.
about. Okay.
Habichuelas is more like your beans. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
you ever been at a Jamaican restaurant before?
Yeah.
Okay, when they get rice and peas, those is beans.
Nah, it depends. In the Bronx, it'd be peas. They have peas.
What color? What color?
Green.
No, I'm talking about the brown ones. The brown ones are beans.
Right. Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. The
What kind?
post
What are those? I think those are
community.
kidney beans. I think they're kidney beans.
No, kidney beans are no, those are not kidney beans.
Glam said they're kidney beans. Thank you, Glam.
Nah. Listen, you got a lot of different types of beans.
I'm telling you, in a Jamaican household, we have rice and peas, and it's made with kidney beans.
All right, I ain't wrestling with you. I'm just saying, there's other Jamaican households and
brown.
restaurants that actually have peas
No,
when
sir.
they say peas.
No, sir. No, sir. When you say rice and peas, you mean kidney beans and the rice. This is rice and peas. Everybody in Jamaica knows these are beans, but they call them peas.
Okay.
I know you from Haiti, but we do a little things different on the island.
Yeah, and Haiti, we rocking with the pigeon peas,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, y'all do things a little bit different. I like them both though.
And
I
in
like
the
them.
South,
Oh no,
we
they're red
rocking
beans.
with the black eyed peas.
Yeah, South like the black eyed peas. How are those? Are those good? Black eyed peas?
I've never been a black eyed pea enjoyer.
I love black eyed peas.
I do the traditional thing and do the black eyed peas on New Year's, January 1st, on the American New Year.
Yeah, that's like a thing. You got to have black eyed peas to start the new year. That's an old slave tradition.
And greens. Black eyed peas and greens.
And greens for the money. I think black eyed peas for the luck, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a thing.
We still do that.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I'm not a black eyed pea person. So I'm not a black eyed pea person.
Man,
I like
I'm about
black
to go.
beans. I like
black beans.
I like black beans. I like lentils. I do a lot of lentils.
Okay.
I like lentils. You get all of the benefits of beans, but you cook them a lot faster.
Mm.
And you got a nice, good variety of pigment in there.
The Ethiopian spots be hooking the lentils up, man. They have all kind of lentils. The spices be on point, man.
Who is that?
Yeah. The Ethiopian
Ethiopians.
spots.
Oh
Yeah, the
yeah.
Ethiopians live off the lentils. You'll get a plate from them, and the plate might be 5 different lentils.
Yeah, that's why they
Green, yellow, orange,
Yeah, yeah.
brown. Yep.
yeah, that's why their heads are so big. It's them beans. Yeah. Yeah.
Unnecessary roughness. You had to find the dark part of the cloud.
I know you seen them Ethiopian heads, nigga. You know
No,
Ethiopian when you see
women
one.
look amazing.
I love big head women.
You
I love when they got them big ass foreheads. It's attractive to me. I'm not saying it don't look good. I'm just saying you know an Ethiopian when you see one. Them niggas got Yakub brains. Them niggas is Yakub in the flesh. I know Yakub was an Ethiopian from the pictures. I know when I see a motherfucking... Yeah, I ain't never seen no ugly Ethiopian, except for the men. Them niggas look a little weird, but the women are beautiful. Beautiful women. I love the Ethiopians. My South African women, my East African women's, ooh, delicatessen. Yeah.
Should they be allowed to read books and run businesses?
Probably not. Yeah, probably gonna...
He's consistent. He's consistent.
Yeah, probably we that's where the earth messed up the first damn time, we gotta give them the right books, like kitchen chemistry, that's a go.
Well, okay. Man, HJ is the best speaker in the digital universe. Didn't he save that thing? Didn't he bring that right back around? Like, man,
He's
that is
learning
a
the ways
fact.
of the drift, man.
Touchdown.
That's crazy. He's learning on the spot.
Get the kitchen chemistry. If you don't have those 2 books, kitchen chemistry, volume 1 and volume 2, add those to your Amazon cart and check out. Listen, stop adding all these books to your Amazon cart without checking out, because then what somebody said earlier, they got $700 worth of books. You were supposed to check out a long time ago. You were supposed to check
EnQi.
out a long time ago.
EnQi, you drop 8 books a week.
No,
How they
no.
supposed to keep up with that? Every time you mention a book, they gotta add it to the cart.
No, every time I mention a book, they got to check out. They got to get that book delivered to the house so they can read it and then pass it off to the family, to the co-workers. Yeah, they got to let that thing circulate. They got to, you know what I'm saying? They got to bring that thing to the house. They got to get it out of the cart, into their hands, into their mind, into their blood. They got to grab that knowledge, that
You about to
information.
have a community on SNAP benefits.
Listen, hey, you see what RFK just did? Shout out to RFK.
Yeah, let's talk about your boy
Regulate.
RFK. Yeah, let's talk about your boy.
Uh-oh.
Hey,
Huh?
Uh-oh.
shout out to RFK out in these streets cleaning it up.
Yeah, cleaning it up. Yeah, then they gonna
Yeah.
clean you up in a second with that universal
listen.
vaccine.
No, sir. No,
He got
sir.
a universal vaccine
No, sir.
sponsored
Listen.
by Bill Gates. Don't run
Listen.
from that conversation,
Listen,
EnQi.
we're not
I
gonna run
got you
from that,
pinned
but
in
we
the
are
corner.
not- Listen, we are not going to overlook the fact that you are no longer able to get the junk food on your EBT. We're gonna go right there. We're not going to deal in a future probabilistic potential reality that's not a reality. We're going to talk about what actually has been done.
So you don't
The
want to talk about
mercury-
that universal
Hold on.
vaccine?
The mercury has been banned from vaccines. So do we want to talk about the toxic chemicals being banned from vaccines?
We can talk about a lot when it comes to that little vaccine he got. What's that shit that start with an M? Tanei, the multi-esophagus thing. What is the thing called that's in the vaccine? The one that you shared the thread on.
Oh, hemagglutinin. It has all the different flu strains. What they call the multi-vector vaccine.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So what's wrong with that? No, I'm asking you, what's wrong with what they got going on with the vaccine?
I think Lupe Fiasco done jumped inside Dr. EnQi's body.
No. Okay, listen to what I'm saying.
This nigga is
Here's
sponsored by
here's the
Microsoft.
context. Hold on. Here's the context of what I'm saying. RFK is limited in what he could do.
Yeah, nigga Lee's. That's what it was. Thank you, Willie
Hold on.
Will.
No, listen to what I'm saying. RFK is limited in what he could do. He
Oh, yeah.
cannot
19
delete
excuses.
vaccine. Oh, he can't delete vaccines from the universe. So what he can do is ban certain toxic ingredients that have been in the vaccines known as adjuvants for the longest, where you got mercury, aluminum, dead, virus parts and all kind of other things that can't really be explained. Have those removed.
This is crazy.
Once you have those things removed, you have a new class of vaccines going to replace them. So
you trying to be RFK vice president, and you trying to be his running mate next election, ain't you?
Listen,
I see the grift.
Let's go, RFK. Listen, because I'm comparing RFK to what we've had, not necessarily an ideal of what we could possibly have, right? If we compare RFK to all of the other health people that have sat in the same seat, nobody has done what he's done in such a small time period. Yeah, so we got to be realistic. We got to talk about him banning sodas and junk foods and all that from EBT and WIC and feed.
I'm with that. That was long overdue.
Yeah, we gotta take our hat off for that. You know what I'm saying? And listen, he can't get rid of the vaccines, but he's trying to change them out and get slightly less toxic ones in there. So
like the universal one, the one that got all the pathogens in it.
Well,
just put all the pathogens in one vaccine, and let's just kill them quicker. That one, right? The universal soldier vaccine.
I mean, you would still have your option to not receive it.
Allegedly.
Yeah, that's just what I was about to say. Is that like at the end of the day, it's still personal.
You would still but here's the thing: you can get that vaccine in the pre-RFK version that has the pathogens in it, with the aluminum and the mercury and the radioactive material, or you can get the post-RFK version that has the pathogens in it without the radioactive material.
It still got aluminum?
And the aluminum.
He took the aluminum out?
Yeah, they working on getting the adjuvants reduced and all that.
But it's still aluminum in there.
Well, dude, listen. Rome wasn't built in a day. Stop hating on my man RFK. We're making progress.
Oh man, EnQi and RFK apologist. That's crazy.
I'm a RFK apologist and promoter.
Hey, stand on business. I respect.
Yeah.
We got it.
He's the best in the position that we've ever had. It's not to say we can't do better or way better. But who in the position has done better to clean up the system than RFK?
They had a lady dick in there last time, so that's definitely a huge leap.
That's what I'm saying.
They had a lady man. That motherfucker was wilding. That nigga had on a wig and a dress.
That's all I'm saying. And
yeah.
So we've never had this much clarity. He just put out the bulletin on the organ donor the whole underground body part movement. So he shut down the organ donor transplant where they was taking body parts from people who could have recovered.
Yeah.
So we my man RFK is working. He done did more in a few months than the totality of the last 10 people in office before him.
Yeah. All right.
Not to mention that my man could drop down and give us 25 push-ups. We ain't seen that in our health officials yet. Like since when we had health officials that could do 10 pull-ups and give us 25 push-ups.
You right. We ain't had that in about 35 centuries dealing with the British Empire. Yeah. Tanei, you was gonna add something there?
Oh yeah, no, the only thing I was gonna say was that, again, like we've said a couple times before, and like we said last week, a lot of stuff is contextual, right? And you still have options within the system, but the options are only available when you have the knowledge, and you know what questions to ask, you know what things to avoid, you know what things you can get on board with. And one thing too is that, a lot of people feel like everything has to be perfect for them to be good, and that's not true. And like I think that holds a lot of people back from taking just one step forward, right?
Yeah.
Where you talk about, like we were talking about hybrids and stuff earlier, and talking about seedless things, and it's just like, for the person that lives in an area where all that's available to them is a seedless fruit, do we tell them to not eat it because it's seedless? But that's the only thing that they have available. So that's better than not eating it at all. So everything has to be put in context of where you are and what you can do.
Listen, let me tell you. One day I'm doing Sunday school at Black and Nobel. And one of the brothers, now we love Steve because Steve worked in the WIC office in Philly. So Steve used to educate the moms coming in to get the WIC and tell them about, the healthy, just try to fill their brain up with a bunch of healthy ideas and concepts. But Steve was a little too, idealist. So one day we get into an argument, right? Now, above the Broad and Erie, like right on one side of the street where Black and Nobel was, across the street from them is the Popeyes chicken.
So my favorite.
Steve goes and gets the 3-piece, he goes and gets him a little platter, and he knocks it off under the bus stop outside before he come upstairs. Now we done seen him, and we upstairs cracking up laughing that he trying to hide his chicken and all that from us. So when he come up, it's people in the room, and we ain't gonna bust him out because we love Steve, so we ain't gonna bust him out. You know what I'm saying? But we just kind of giggling amongst ourselves because we just watched you knocking off the.
Why was he hiding it?
Huh?
Why was he hiding it?
Because he didn't want to get, come on, we had the strong vegan movement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so he was trying to get his Popeyes in before he came upstairs. He didn't want.
Yeah,
Okay,
he
I got you.
And then he supposed to be a Dr. Sabi, like he.
Yeah. So he's supposed to be a disciple too.
Man, so he comes. So you all the way foul. So wait, so we come up, we do normal Sunday school, 3-4 hour Dr. EnQi talking, people head off, and at the end we get into this Q&A, and so we get stuck on the Q&A because he's trying to take me down hybrid road, and I'm trying to tell him that it's you got to take this in context,
right?
Because if I'm saying like, okay, is this fruit has more antioxidant than this fruit and blah, 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 blah. That's a philosophical, you know what I'm saying? But if we're talking about a hybrid fruit versus an order of French fries from McDonald's, it's not even a question of which one is more nutritious for you.
Right.
And so we get going back and forth, and he gets hung up on this grapefruit thing. And then I have to bust him out. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, we just watched you coming from Popeyes. What are you talking about? The grapefruit was better than everything that was on your tray. And then that was the end of the conversation. We let it go at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because there's really no argument for that.
You're like, damn, y'all see me?
Yeah, well, because it's in context. It's like people get caught on the internet and social media having philosophical conversations that don't really apply as much to real life. If you're trying to go to a healthier place, the idea is just to incorporate more actual plants into your diet.
Right.
And whether you're eating meat or whether you're on the vegan side, because vegans nowadays are eating just as little plants as people who eat meat.
Yeah, I was a startitarian vegan.
Man, and
fries was my go-to.
Most vegans are startitarians at best. You know what I'm saying? At best, it's a lot of Daya, mac and cheese with fake chicken, and that's why immediately people go, well, it's too expensive to eat vegan. No. It's too expensive to get the vegan version of soul food 3 times a day.
Right.
You're trying to replace your meat meals with the vegan version, so you want vegan eggs with vegan sausage.
Right.
Like you want to have a Subway sandwich still, but you want vegan pastrami and vegan turkey and vegan chicken. Like, that is not the idea. The idea is to actually begin to eat more plants. So that's why over time we just got to a space where we focus on pigment and fiber.
Right. So I wanna kill one thing from the diet right now, so we never have to talk about it again. People should not eat corn. It has zero nutritional benefits. True or false? Yellow corn on the cob.
Okay, hold on, because you made two statements.
No, people should not eat
Hold
corn.
on. No, wait. You made two statements. In your one statement, there was two statements. So I'm going to say I agree wholeheartedly with the first statement, and so the second statement is we don't even need to address it.
You should not eat corn.
Correct.
Why?
Because corn is terrible. Yeah, I'm just anti-corn. I've never liked corn. I got a whooping before for corn, so I've just always been an op. I've always been an op for corn. Like, corn is traumatic for me. So all throughout my life, I've always looked to find biased research against corn. So I don't even know if there is nutritions in corn. The only thing I know about corn are all the bad things.
Tell me about it. Tell me about all the bad things about corn. Let's kill corn right now.
Well, high fructose corn syrup comes from
corn.
Let's just end it right there. Let's just attribute high fructose syrup to corn and just be done.
Tanei, what you got again? I know you got some ammo against corn, man. Let's kill corn right now. I never want to see you. We better not have no corn at HotepCon either. I'm cutting that right out the budget. We having beans.
Man, listen, as a card carrying member of the southern region of the United States.
Just go ahead and plead the fifth, Tanei. Just plead the fifth and stand.
Come on, Tanei.
Just plead the fifth and stand down. Just get out the way. Just get out the way. That's all.
Listen, y'all not taking grits away from me, dog. I'm sorry.
Wait, grits is corn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I need my grits, yo. Hold up, man. Hold on a second. Wait, we gotta slow down. We are moving.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You do not need grits.
I need my grits, nigga.
No, you don't. You do not need grits. You got cream of wheat and you got oatmeal. Just roll with that.
Wait, my auntie used to make some fire cream of wheat. I thought cream of wheat was grits.
No, sir.
What is cream of wheat?
Cream of wheat. Yeah, it's wheat.
I never even thought of that.
It's hot cereal. It's wheat. Yeah.
I never even broke the name down like that. It's just one word.
Technically,
cream of wheat.
even though they all three different, they kind of slip into that breakfast place.
Yeah, the breakfast
grits, the oatmeal, and the cream of wheat. So you know, like,
what's wrong with grits?
Carbs, yeah.
What's wrong with grits?
Nah, grits taste delicious, but you know, if we gotta save grits or corn, we gotta let that corn go.
Okay.
Corn gotta go, grits gotta go with it. Yeah,
no, wait, whoa, why is it because it's insoluble? What is I need the science. I need the
science
the
is you cannot have
bicarbonate.
grits. Listen, you cannot have grits without corn. So do you want the grits, yes or no?
Yes.
Well, then you want the corn.
I don't want the corn. I want the grits.
No, there's no way to have it. There's no way to have orange juice without oranges. Like, it's no way to.
I want. See, now we back to is this a protein or is it a T-shirt? Is this amino acids? See, now I gotta flip it back on you.
No, sir. Listen, there's no way to flip it. If you want
yes,
grits,
it is. I want my corn in grits form. Corn by itself is no good, but grits are amazing. You ever had fish and grits or just grits with the butters or oh man, grits and eggs?
Every hood platter that you can think of. I'm from 158th Street to Buck. That does not mean though. The more informed version of me is getting ready to have those platters in the future.
Now, I have had something like grits before. What was that called? It's like grits, but it's healthy. Damn. Where did I have this at? It tastes better than grits too. I forget what this was. Chat, help me out, man. Nah, not porridge. This was it was
polenta?
yeah, it was some. I think it was some type of polenta.
Polenta is just like Italian grits, basically.
Is that what? That's what it was. It's Italian. Thank you. That shit is amazing.
The way they season it, but it's like Italian.
Okay, listen, but Tanei just pulled you back in the grits again, man. You got to stop agreeing with Tanei right now. You have
How? Polenta's grits too?
to. Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, I just said it's Italian grits.
So polenta's just Italian grits.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! So I just like grits.
Listen.
Yeah. Yes, you like grits.
Listen.
Okay.
I like cornflakes, but I haven't had cornflakes in a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen, you have to let the corn products go. They make a lot of delicious food out of corn products.
All right. So here's what we gonna do. Next week we gonna come back. I need you to do your research and tell me what's wrong with grits, EnQi. Bring your best studies and tell me what's wrong with grits and corn. Go do your research. Come back because I got another question for y'all here before we go. But go do your research, and I want the 411 on grits. I'm still gonna eat them shits, but I do want to know what I'm doing so I can balance it out. You know, somebody said, "What about non-American corn?" Well, you just dealing with corn still. It's just not GMO.
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
What?
Not necessarily.
Why?
If they dealing with wild corn, then that's a different concept.
Why is that a different concept?
Well, next week we talk about it.
Okay, there we go. Next week we talk about corns. There it is.
In the meantime, in between time, if you do want your grits to be, a little bit healthier, I actually recently started doing this. I put rice, cauliflower, and chia seeds in it. It still tastes like grits, but you get a lot more fiber in it.
Rice, cauliflower, and what else?
And chia seeds.
So rice, cauliflower, and chia seeds.
No, riced cauliflower.
Oh, riced that's
cauliflower and chia seeds. Let's just yeah.
But riced is basically how they're chopping it up.
It's just really fine chopped.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know you could get cauliflower like that. Mm-hmm. So that's a good way to get cauliflower in my diet. Cause I don't like them little balls on the top of the cauliflower and the broccoli. That texture is not for me. We got to grind that up. Do I got yellow grits? I don't know if I got yellow grits, but that sounds good too. Yeah, all right, so let's come back to my question. We're gonna get real scientific. I need to know the difference because no matter how much I think about it or look it up, I still don't get it. What's the difference between catabolic, anabolic, and metabolic? It's all these bolics, and I don't know what bolic is doing what.
Okay, so metabolic
is metabolism.
Metabolism is the process of your body, exchanging breaking down substrates and producing energy, right? Catabolic is anything in your body.
Wait. You're moving too fast. Teach. Hold on, man. Substrates. Hold on a second. Let me look up what the fuck a substrate is. I don't even know what the fuck
a thing, like a fat, a sugar, like whatever your body uses to make energy out of.
Oh, it's just stuff.
Yeah, stuff.
All right, so substrates is
stuff. You can sub in the word stuff.
Okay.
Catabolic is breaking things down.
Wait. You moving too fast. I got a vaccine injury and I'm dyslexic, nigga. Slow down.
Stop. What is this madness?
Okay, so metabolic is the what of substrates? Turning that into energy. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Okay, so metabolic is taking substrates and turning that into energy. Continue.
So it's either the breakdown or the build-up. So the metabolic is the tree, the catabolic and anabolic are the branches.
Oh.
So catabolic, you're breaking things down. Anabolic, you're building things up.
Oh.
And your body does them both, like simultaneously. It breaks things down in order to build things up.
Catabolic breaks down. Anabolic. No. Anabolic breaks down?
No. Catabolic breaks down.
I had it right. Okay.
Anabolic builds up.
Okay. Catabolic breaks down. Anabolic builds up.
Correct. So the process of
Okay.
healing is largely anabolic, even though people usually only use the word anabolic in the bodybuilding circles to build muscle.
Oh, that's why we always hear that. So we're
But
built. Okay.
anabolic is also, well, you mostly hearing that because there's so many conversations happening about TRT and steroids.
Right.
Right. So what TRT and steroids do is put your body in a state where typically you don't have long catabolic, like it takes you into an unnaturally long anabolic phase. Whereas your body
Mm.
typically alternates between catabolic and anabolic.
So what if that catabolic thing isn't happening? I mean, something's not getting broken down. You got some buildup. Now you full of.
Well, that's why the mTOR activation can be dangerous. mTOR can lead to tumors and cancer. So everybody should not be, once again, trying to follow the dietary
Now I
habits
saw
and
somebody
programs.
earlier say that there's studies about TRT causing cancer.
Anytime you mess with them hormones, you in the cancer space. But specifically when you deal with mTOR activity, you can also get into a cancer space. So that has to do with, IGF-1 and, like it is, so
So
yeah,
anytime you're dealing with exogenous hormones, you're in the cancer space.
not exactly. But
Okay.
anytime you're messing with your hormones,
Okay.
yeah, anytime you take your hormones out of a natural rhythm,
Right.
you can go into a cancer space. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Wow.
when you're looking at mTOR, various growth factors, so you got stuff like EGF-1, IGF-1, VEGF. Those are all just different growth factors. Those go into AKT signaling, AKT, and all of these are cellular growth processes. So anytime you start to mess with these proteins and enzymes that you know turn cell signaling on, turn it off, that's anytime that you deal with any kind of cell replication, cell growth, and you're talking about cancer cell, a potential
That's
cancer
a
cell growth.
hallmark of a cancer cell. Cancer cells like go into anabolic, like long anabolic phases.
Mm.
Yeah, they replicate uncontrollably.
Mm.
You know, so bodybuilders. So here's the thing, as an adult, right? As a baby, this is why babies typically drink milk, right?
Okay.
Babies need to be in a pretty much 100% anabolic phase. They need to be producing way more cells than their body is breaking down. So
Okay.
they just need to make cells, make cells, make cells for growth.
Right.
Growth, 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 growth. When you get to adult phase, it's balanced.
Mm-hmm.
You need to break down just about as many cells as you need to replicate every day. So you need a balance of catabolism and anabolism to be healthy. Ma'at.
Mm.
Ma'at should be maintained.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to be old age, your body is breaking down more cells daily than it's able to replace. So this is why one of the things we notice with old folks is they kind of shrink.
Right.
So you tilt the scale when you start messing with anabolic hormones. Now,
Ah.
if you're trying to be a bodybuilder or a professional athlete, you may not go down a cancer road
Mm-hmm.
because you're doing the things exercise wise and eating a diet that will allow your body to kind of safely utilize within reason. There's still
Right.
problems, but for the most part, you're able to safely harness that growth to produce more muscle, stronger tissue.
Right.
John Q. Public, on the other hand, that's sitting on the couch watching the internet that wants a six pack to look sexy,
Mm.
that person should be careful turning on the mTOR switch because the mTOR switch is also the tumor cancer switch.
Mm.
So you put yourself in a space that you may not necessarily want to be in just because you're trying to look sexy or, for women, they just trying to lose 2 sizes in their dresses or whatever the case may be.
Tanai, what do you want to add to that conversation?
Nothing's absolutely right. You just, again, everything's contextual. What do you want out of what you're doing? What is the purpose of what you're doing? And obviously there are going to be things that.
Well, tell me about this mTOR thing. Break this down like you would take, explain this to one of your organic chem students.
Yeah, so mTOR just basically stands for mammalian target of rapamycin, and this is a known factor in the body that controls a lot of different cellular signaling processes. So my graduate thesis was actually on phosphoinositide signaling, and so phosphoinositides are different signaling lipids in the body that control cellular growth processes, right? And
wait, that's interesting. So wait, let me ask you. So what do you think about human babies on cow's milk?
It's.
You wrote the paper on it, so go ahead.
Human babies should not be drinking cow's milk. They shouldn't.
Okay, grand opening, grand closing. My bad. Go back to it.
They shouldn't.
Done deal. I just didn't know that your paper was. Go ahead, but go ahead. Yeah.
You don't want your babies to be 700-pound cows.
Right.
So, I mean, that's But so my graduate thesis was on phosphoinositide signaling, and so we know from a lot of different studies and just a lot of biology and things that have gone on that we know mTOR is a major signaling factor in cellular growth mechanisms, and one of the things that it does control is phosphoinositide signaling, and phosphoinositides. They're a class of signaling lipids, and so basically a class of fats. And not all fats are used as energy. Some of them are used to tell your body to do certain things. We call these signaling lipids.
Yeah, some of them are signaling. Some of them is for structure too.
Yeah, some of them are for structure and for cell integrity, for your cell membranes, things like that.
Yeah.
And phosphoinositides directly control cell signaling, cell growth pathways through AKT. So I looked a lot at PIP2 and PIP3, and so PIP2 is phosphatidylinositol bisphosphate. All of these technical terms basically just means you have a fat with phosphate groups on it and a sugar. And so a lot of these different phospholipids have different signaling molecules on there. They can be amino acids, they can be carbohydrates. So all of these different macros are not just used for energy, they also use for cell integrity and cell signaling. And so when you start to turn certain pathways on and turn them off, you start to see how they control the system, right? And again, like we said last week, the body is a system of levers, pulleys, and loops, right? Well, that's not just in the skeletal element, that's also in the cellular elements as well. So you have a lot of different things, like you press this button, it turns this button on. That button may turn on 5 different buttons, or it might shut 5 different buttons off. So the signaling cascades as a whole are very, very intricate. And you have these feedback mechanisms, when things turn on, it may turn something else off, it may turn something else on. So you have a lot of different checkpoints of what your body is supposed to do. And this is what I was saying earlier. Your body is very intelligent. Your body knows what it's supposed to do. So anybody that thinks that their body is trying to kill them, you cannot phrase it that way, because your body's doing everything it possibly can to keep you alive.
Facts.
So when you're in a disease state, it's still trying to keep you alive. So when you're looking at how your cells are dividing, how you're getting these signals, if you think about everything as information, right? Take it to the matrix if you want to. Everything around us is information. Things that we touch, things that we eat, things that we breathe. Everything is telling your body to do something. Your body is getting that information and it is doing something as a result. We're just big, walking, talking biological computers. We bring in information, we go through a program. That program a lot of times is already written in, and whenever you just hit execute, it executes the program, right? You have other stuff that comes in and changes the program. You have other stuff come in and override the program. So all of these things you just have to think about is it's just information. Is it food information? Is it visual information? Is it auditory information? All of these things are just telling your body or giving your body a clue of what is around you and how your body is supposed to respond as a result of getting that information. And so when you
Right.
kind of break it down like that, it's hard to call things good and bad. So this is what I tell my med chem class. So this is one of the first things I tell my med chem students. Drugs are not good or bad. They just are. Drugs do a certain thing. They tell something to do something else. It does that thing and it eventually stops. That's it. Drugs are not good or bad. They're just working on a specific system to give a specific message.
It's a hammer.
That's it.
It's a gun. It's a tool.
Exactly. So when this is what I was saying earlier about when you go to the hospital and you get drugs, that's the emergency line. Like that's when you really need to be saying, okay, I got to course correct because this is the last line of defense. When you get drugs, you like EnQi was saying, you get an amputation. You know, you got a couple more. You cut some years off your life. When they start to give you drugs, you need to start paying attention. Like that's when you got to start kind of walking some stuff back, right? Because it's basically telling you when you have to take drugs, we have to make one chain stronger because it's so weak, but by doing that you weaken the rest of the chain, and so that makes you realize how interconnected everything is. And when you start to try to look at things in the vacuum, you start to try to look at things separately, you start to miss like how everything is connected to each other. And when you start to separate these systems from each other, you can learn about things individually, but you cannot learn about how they work together. And that is where you really see all the magic happening. Like things, the truly magical things that happen in the body is when everything works in harmony, everything is working together, not when you compartmentalize things.
Wait,
But
look,
some things happen in the vacuum that don't happen when everything is together.
yeah, that's the in vivo, in vitro problem. But going back to the blue zone study, right? The other anomaly that they found was, and these tests started in rodents, and it just they had this information and couldn't really quantize it until they started looking at these blue zones where people live a long time. That's where the whole idea of calorie deficit came in. So a lot of people hear the term calorie deficit a lot because calorie deficit is splattered all over the internet because it started in the scientific journals. The thing is, it started in the scientific journals because they recognized that people lived longer. Mammals in general lived longer with calorie deficit. Not because you had a six pack, not because you could fit into a better outfit, not because you reduced body fat. The reason was because calorie deficit was down regulating the mTOR activity. It down regulated the mTOR pathways and up regulated what later on became the longevity pathways. So when you hear about autophagy and even extended ketone production or sirtuin activity, all of those things would be considered now a part of what they call the longevity pathways. Those stand in opposition to mTOR. When mTOR is active, those things are not. So you don't have both. So the whole idea of calorie deficit, calorie restriction came from the concept of longevity, not necessarily the idea of building muscle and losing fat, even though it's thrown around in that space now. It comes from the scientific findings surrounding people live longer with the mTOR activity turned off because you have longer, your DNA has information in it for longer cycles than we're able to observe. So when people are talking circadian rhythm and the importance of circadian rhythm, that's 12 to 24-hour cycles, right? But we live for decades. We live for centuries. And if you look at humans in general, we've been around for thousands of years, depending on the research, hundreds of thousands of years. So we have cycles that are longer than people care to pay attention to, especially if we're marketing, brands or commercial products or aspects to sell things. So when we look at the long-term rhythms of the body, like I said, going from a baby to an adult, one of the things that has to change is the mTOR activity. mTOR activity is for babies, right? mTOR is not for adults, unless you happen to be getting paid for being, a 300-pound bodybuilder, or, a 300-pound linebacker, or power forward, power forward for the Lakers or something like that. But other than that, adults should not have high levels of mTOR activity. And specific combinations of amino acids, like branch chain amino acids with, 3 grams of leucine and blah blah, like certain combinations will activate mTOR activity, and then you couple that with steroids and you put your body in a crazy place. Now, if, like I was saying earlier, if you intend on using those hyper anabolic cycles for a reason, and you do all the things that's necessary to make those incredibly dangerous cycles as safe as possible.
Which is?
Well, you got to do the exercise, the sleep, and eat the thing, eat the high protein, to make sure that you're building as much safe, healthy, metabolically active tissue as possible, right? Because your body's in growth, 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 growth. It's very easy for that growth, 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 growth to go the direction of fat as opposed to muscle. And if you go the direction of fat, fat is the language of cancer. Fat is the language of cancer. Fat is the language of, high levels of insulin and estrogen, and insulin and estrogen feed disease. Yeah, and cancer cells have more insulin receptors for a reason. Fat cells produce a lot of estrogen to reinforce fat tissue.
So that's why you see dudes with man boobs.
Absolutely. Man boobs is a byproduct of not only steroids, but just being fat in general. So man boobs is primarily associated now because we in a steroid TRT universe with steroids and TRT, but man boobs have been around long before steroids and TRT.
The nasty thing about fat too is that, especially with with visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, I don't know how much of an extent it works like this, but when you go on a calorie restricted diet, if you just do calorie restriction, so you have these receptors on the fat cells called adrenergic receptors, so they can be alpha or beta. And so most of the time, the beta adrenergic receptors are the ones that when you unlock them, it tells the cells to start releasing the triglycerides so that your body can use it for energy. So if you only do calorie restriction, eventually your visceral fat cells will stop expressing these beta adrenergic receptors on the outside of the cell, and it'll make it harder for you to lose the fat. So you still have to have an outside.
Yeah, your body will adapt.
Upregulated.
Yeah, your body will adapt, and
upregulated.
Insulin will protect those fat cells. Insulin will protect those fat cells. That's where the problem's coming in at. The insulin will protect those fat cells. So what you actually, the melanin system got to come to the rescue, believe it or not.
Uh-oh.
Because the catecholamines is what's going to break down those walls to metabolize that visceral fat.
And so again, if you really think about it though, if when you start to lose weight, you have to think about what your body is thinking. Your body is not saying, hey, we're losing weight because we're trying to get to a healthy weight set point. It's like, oh shit, we're dying. What's going on? So again, your body is trying to keep you alive. It's just not in the way that you think it is. It's responding to what is happening on the outside and saying, oh, we're losing a lot of weight. We need to maintain this because we don't know how much longer this is going to happen for. So we have to slow it down because we don't know why this is happening. We just know.
Yeah, when it comes to the calorie restriction thing, you got to switch up the diet. So say for instance, you cutting calories, right? Say for instance, you wake up on Monday, you're like, yo, I'm going to lose some weight. right? So on Monday, you normally eat 2,000 calories. So now you're going to skip a meal. So now you somewhere around 1,500 calories for the day. Cool. That's going to work for a couple days,
A
right?
week at the most.
Yeah, and then your body's going to, first of all, lower your metabolism so that the 1,400 calories now works in your body like the 2,000 calories because you move less. But also, it's going to become more protective over the fat reserves. So what you have to do is a couple, cutting calories with adding more exercise.
And that's where the energy flux comes in. That's why I was saying
Yeah.
people that have a higher energy flux, they lose weight easier because it's not just the deficit. You're also telling your body like, hey, we still need to like keep using this energy, so you still got to keep this higher.
And that's where the cheat code comes in terms of walking, right? Because your body was designed to walk long periods of time. Walking is the only thing that you can do to light your metabolism on fire without boosting your appetite. Anything else you do creates a super appetite. So people go to the gym, they put in an amazing workout, but their appetite goes up. You know what I'm saying? They go out, do some sprinting, some running, their appetite goes up.
Yep.
You know, if you walk, your appetite doesn't necessarily increase from the walk. So, you know, you just gotta, it's just stuff to learn. It's just stuff to learn.
You know what's funny is I wanted to gain weight. This was back when I was working with 50, so I was like, I got to get Baki. I'm working with 50. So I started taking on a lot of cow's milk and protein powders. And what I noticed was that I looked fat. I was bigger, and it was like I was bigger and stronger, and I looked Baki, right? But I also could look in the mirror when I took my shirt off, and I saw a lot of fat like around my stomach, and I just looked really fat.
Yeah. Well, that's what bodybuilders. So, again, most people that we're looking at on the internet is surgery and drugs. And
Okay.
so 99% of the online health gurus is surgery and drugs. So we looking at these guys and we looking at their six pack. We're not thinking, and it's crazy because all of these guys keep running you through, oh, this is what I eat in a day. This is what I eat in a day. This is what I eat in a day. But you got a butt full of steroids every day as well. It's not the fact that you're eating 150 grams of protein that makes you have that muscle. It's the fact that you're doing $5,000 a month of steroids is how you're carrying the muscle. It's not that, because otherwise, if Liver King, think about it, if Liver King eating testicles and raw meat and ancestral meat and all this other, if if that was the thing that allowed him to have the physique, there would be no reason for the steroids, right? But it's these steroids that's allowing him to carry the muscle. And so the ancestral diet and eating testicles and all that, that's just how he goes viral in order to sell his supplements.
Right.
Because people forgot that Liver King is a supplement guy. He just doesn't sell herbs. What he sells is powdered organs. So he sells powdered heart, powdered liver, powdered, So him saying, "Oh, look, I got these muscles from eating liver, blah blah blah," and then the average person's gonna go, "Ew, that's nasty. I'm not gonna eat a raw liver." And then that's where it's like, "But you can go to my website and get liver capsules," and then like, but it's the steroids that's allowing him to have the physique, and then the physique sells the product. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it's like,
So why was I looking so fat after I was doing all the I feel like here's my theory. My theory is that they are giving the cows anabolic steroids. When I'm drinking the cow milk, I'm getting anabolic steroids.
that's a fact also, but cow's milk by itself is a steroid for a human.
Yeah, it's anabolic and inflammatory, so it's where
Yeah,
you are gonna look a little
yeah,
puffy.
yeah. By itself, like before you even include what they shot the cow up with, milk. So So let's rewind again.
Okay.
Babies, the mTOR system is where you ramp up cellular replication and growth.
Right.
That is for babies. So babies are supposed to drink milk. Milk is designed to activate, stimulate, and feed the mTOR system. So when a human goes on cow's milk, activate, stimulate mTOR system. Right? So you're going on, and then a cow is designed to be how many pounds?
750.
A human's not designed to be 700 anything. You know what I'm saying? So you already, that's already like a liquid. That's like a legal steroid. Cow's milk.
Wow. So that cow's milk, you drinking that cow's milk, and that's for, a cow's mTOR system. So really you overloading your mTOR system.
Now you add in the protein. The protein.
Right. I was adding protein to the cow's milk.
Okay, now hold on. When you talking about 10 years ago?
It's about 10 years ago.
Right. So
12
whey
to 13.
protein is still the number one selling protein.
Right.
But back then, you didn't even have as many varieties where now they got.
Nah, I was taking muscle milk.
Oh, so yeah. So you was drinking milk and then adding powdered milk to the milk already. So you was quadrupling the milk effect.
Yeah.
Plus, you have to understand too that most of the time, like these are like factory farm cows, so like the udders are inflamed. So since the
who
udders
is
are
inflamed?
The udders that they're getting the milk from.
Oh, the nipples.
The cow is inflamed. The
Okay.
cow is inflamed.
Yeah, so the cow's inflamed. You're starting to drink the molecules that are also causing the inflammation. So
Cytokines.
you're starting to get the cytokines. Yeah, so you're gonna get inflamed too.
Yeah, you're getting all of those inflammatory cytokines from the cow. You're getting all the cow's IL-1, IL-6, tumor necrosis factor.
Sick titties, basically. Sick titty cells.
Correct. All of those lovely chemicals.
Damn.
Are translating over.
So I was inflamed and steroided up.
Well, you got the steroid activity, the mTOR activity, but then you also got the inflammatory chemicals, which are a part of fat cell growth. So fat tissue in your body produces estrogen to grow. It also releases inflammatory molecules because inflammatory molecules stimulates cortisol, and then cortisol makes fat grow.
Now the red wokes is gonna be mad because they like drinking that raw cow's milk. They gonna tell you, I got this raw cow's milk. This good for the body.
Listen, you was already trying to teach them how to cook crack. Tanei came in teaching them how to make meth. There are people that like crack. There are people that like meth. It is my job as a health professional to say, hey, stop using that crack and that meth, right? So we can just add milk right on in there. Like, hey, cut that milk out.
Damn, they ain't gonna like that.
If they choose to continue crack, meth, or milk, I will not be angry with them. I could still be their friend. We could still play basketball together. We could still go out to a movie together. You know what I'm saying? We just probably won't be able to share a meal because their meal might be slightly different, but we could still eat at the same table at the same time. You know what I'm saying? We just, can't consume the same items.
Spotless said, what should he be feeding his 1.5-month-old baby? And I'm gonna tell you, my baby is 5 years old. She just got off the titty.
Yeah, I'm about to say that breast is, that's the blueprint. After that, well, we ain't on the breast, damn it. So we stopped the breast already, damn it. So what else?
It'd be crazy to me that people be so anti regular human breast milk would be so ready to drink cow milk. That shit is still crazy.
That shit's crazy.
Yeah. But you're in the world of expensive replacements at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Mom stopped producing. Baby is 1.5 months old now. What should he get a baby? Cow's milk, right? Because that's good for the mTOR.
Baby is 1.5 months old.
I'm sorry, years.
Oh man, I'm about to say, what about the baby's brain development? Jesus.
Yeah, 1.5 years. I'm sorry, that was my vaccine
That's
injury.
still, I still say always you should try to go for 2 years. But listen,
So what they go to now? Cow's milk, right? Because for the mTOR.
stop it. You just trolling yo, this guy is.
You said they need the mTOR cell
No, 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 no,
replication,
no, no, no,
and the
wait.
cow's milk boosts the mTOR cell
Listen.
replication.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with fake baby milk over cow's milk.
Wow. So infant milk gonna be better than cow's milk.
There's in 2025 we got a lot more options than infant milk.
Okay,
That's
so
why I said expensive replacements.
now
Expensive replacements. The replacements exist, but to get the good ones, you got to spend a little bit of bread.
yeah, they got some European brands. There is some baby formula. Hold on, I'm about to find the one that we was using.
There's baby formula based on real breast milk. You can even purchase breast milk. Like there's some.
You can purchase breast milk. That is true.
Yeah. There's some expensive replacements out there.
It's expensive, but you can purchase breast milk. Here, this is the one I got right here. Earth's Best Baby Formula. This is 0 to 12 months, but it's probably good
Earth's
after,
Best
right?
is decent.
Earth's Best is decent.
It's better than infant milk.
It's better than infant milk. And then there's another. There was a European brand I saw. This was years ago. I was researching this shit. So what would be a next
Well,
best
here's
thing?
the thing. So based on your budget, because breast milk is something that you got to kind of have a lot of, so it's not like you could just get it one time, like so. And you got to be consistent with it.
He said the
So
baby
I
don't
would
want
just-
milk no more.
Well, you could go with purees. You know what I'm saying? Get you a food processor and start making your own mixes. Yeah, get you a food processor and start feeding your baby some plant food. You know what I'm saying? Get to the puree, start making your baby some smushes. Yeah.
Baby food, basically.
Or if you got a strong blender, sure, make your baby some fresh baby food. Sweet potatoes good. Go high on the pigments. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Sweet potato. I know she's gonna love that. Yeah, you throw the.
But I don't know no babies that don't like milk. I'm getting concerned. Like what is happening right now? Like your baby.
He got a New York baby.
Stop that! Don't violate New York. I'm from New York. Listen, babies like milk. Listen, adults like milk. So what babies don't like milk?
Well, New York baby. New York. This is a Brooklyn baby. They used to kung fu fighting rats and shit. They eating pizza now at that age. This is a New York Brooklyn baby. That baby probably got a gun on him. We gotta.
That's crazy. That baby needs some milk. That baby needs some D8. That baby needs high quality omega-3s.
Okay.
So I would say if you're gonna focus on anything, focus on the large game. Focus on making sure your baby has a good amount of amino acids, right? Collagen-based amino acids. Make sure your baby gets a lot of pigments in, and make sure your baby gets a lot of DHA. A lot of DH, not DHEA, but DHA, right? Because DHEA is a steroid. DHA is a type of omega-3. And that's what your baby's going to need for brain and nervous system development.
He said the mama was giving the baby Pediasure.
What?
Pediasure. That's like Ensure, but for babies.
Yo. Yeah, it's different out there, bro. I don't want to troll because this is somebody's real baby. Like,
It's all good. The baby got a gun, so it's all good. You can keep it real with the little nigga. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, little Netcher. Come on.
I'm sorry, little Netcher.
Yeah,
My bad.
little Netcher. Come on, man.
Yeah, little Netcher.
But I'm just saying, we got to get to the highest quality, and if budget comes in, you want to compare the ingredients and look for how much omega-3
Omega-3s.
per,
Up
like
until
what
what
you
age?
said, up until they get out your house. Like I
Oh,
got
wow.
big children. I got 16-year-olds, 12-years-olds, 10 years. You still got to make
So
sure they're
this,
developing brain and nervous system.
so
Like
this for me too. So okay, so
ever,
omega
ever, forever,
threes,
ever.
omega threes. Cause my baby 4, I'm gonna be honest with you. Her mama talking about, oh, she need to supplement cause she don't eat much. I'm gonna give her whole milk. I'm like, if you don't stop giving my baby milk, she be giving the baby whole milk. I gotta throw under the bus for that one.
Whole milk, white milk. Well, like, what does she think is in the whole milk, though?
I don't
That's what you
know.
just gotta act. Like, some people believe that there are things that are in the milk that's not really in there.
She's basically saying cause she's a light eater, so she wants to give the baby milk as like a supplement meal.
So she's just supplementing empty calories.
Yeah.
Right. So supplementing empty calories, yeah, we got to get focused on the nutrients. So the other day in class, see, she might need to attend class. The other day in class, we spent about 3 hours on the concept of nutrients in calories, nutrients and calories, nutrients or calories. Because a lot of times we're having this space, and in America, it's a lot of nutrients or calories.
Okay.
So we're about empty calories. And
Right.
That's where leptin becomes a problem, because you got guys on the internet like, yeah, leptin resistance is the main. Like, if you don't knock off that leptin is not a problem. That is a made up gimmick by a brain surgeon that's been fat the whole time.
Yeah.
We ain't never seen Jack Cruz in 5 years lose 5 pounds. Jack Cruz been fat since we seen him. He's still fat. Like, he tell me, oh, I got the solution to my leptin prescription. Yeah. Why you haven't used it yet? Because we haven't seen you change your body one time. Leptin is not the problem. People are confused. People are getting empty calories. So this how you go to the Chinese restaurant, you eat, you full, 45 minutes later you burp. It's like you didn't eat nothing. Because there was no nutrition, just empty calories.
Right.
So that's where, especially with babies, it's more important to get focus on the nutrients,
Right.
as opposed to the calories.
Right.
Yeah, focus
So where
on
we getting the nutrients from? The purees, like you said?
plants. Yep.
It sounds like we need a baby book. EnQi need a baby book. The baby kitchen
I
chemistry.
probably need to just redo. I had one before.
Okay.
I had a vegan babies book.
We need to be. There it is.
Yeah, I did a vegan babies book. And
Yeah.
I had a whole breakdown for the babies. I probably just need to come back with another.
We need that. That's the big seller, because kids toys. Tanei tell you he knows marketing. The kids market is
It
crazy.
seemed like it would be, but people don't care about their babies. That's the reason why is we in the situation we in. People just want to feed these babies yogurt tubes and move on with their life. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then when you look at the ingredients to the yogurt tube, ain't even no yogurt in the yogurt tubes. The yogurt tubes is filled with sugar. Like, it's a sugar tube.
What about those things of cheese? You know, those long strips of cheese?
So solid milk.
Damn.
So solid milk we do instead of the liquid. We go from liquid to solid milk. Listen. If
Yeah, string cheese.
listen, we could do milkshakes. You know what I'm saying? We can do milkshakes.
Okay.
We can use the fact that our babies are hardwired for milk,
Okay.
right? And put some milk in the blender, and then add some good stuff,
To
right?
it.
Because milkshake doesn't have to be like we can add some fruits and vegetables. We can make a milk smoothie.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like we
Yeah.
can.
And
we
so
can-
even with the cow's milk, we could throw a little smoothie together with that.
You're not gonna get me on one of these clips suggesting that we should give cow's milk.
That's
to
what you said. You said put milk in
But
the blender with the
listen,
good stuff.
there's a lot of types of milk on the market in 2025. Even if we go back to Elijah Muhammad, How to Eat to Live, he said you could go to the health food stores.
You get
and they
goat
got
milk.
milk supplements use those. So, goat milk is better than the cow's milk.
Yeah.
Goat milk is better than cow's milk.
Yeah. And the baby goat is called kid, so that means it's good for kids.
Unnecessary roughness. We're gonna say that's inflammatory logic. We're just gonna create some new penalties for you. In fact, in the middle of a football game, we're going to invent a penalty box. We're gonna bring in the hockey penalty box in a football game and put you in a hockey penalty box. We're just gonna create a new type of thing for you. Like you are on an adult version of timeout. But yes, they have goat milk. In fact, going back to the baby thing, they have created some goat milk, baby milk products, like some goat, some powdered goat milk, Enfamil replacement. Like they got some. It's a lot of things out there now better than Enfamil.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot of things out there better than Enfamil.
All right, so we banning milk from the house. We banning the cows from the house.
Well, listen, the whole idea is to go as nutrient dense as possible.
Nutrient dense. That's pigments.
No, that's pigments, that's fibers, that's minerals, that's antioxidants, that's vitamins. That's
so what is a nutrient? When you say nutrient, what is carbs a nutrient?
Okay, so.
Because you say nutrition, right? You said the nutritionist ain't the dietitian, the dietitian ain't the surgeon.
Tanei is enjoying this. So listen,
Tanei, well, let's start with Tanei. Tanei, when he says nutrition.
No, because you can't ask him when I say, what do I mean? Listen, so, because
Tanei, what does nutrition mean?
Wait,
I'm about to mute you, EnQi. Tanei, what does nutrient mean?
Let me clarify this on this carb thing. So, because there's a space where, because carb.
I'm gonna ask the Google demons.
No. Listen. Carb has become. This is why people need the books. They need to come to class, right? Because when you watch a YouTube channel, guys will talk about like no carb diets.
Right.
And then you'll have somebody contradict that whole no carb program and say, look at what I did on an all carb diet. Right? And so the whole problem is, again, they haven't clearly identified carb. Right? So usually when you hear the benefits of no carb diet, what they're talking about is white rice, white bread, Hostess cupcakes, ice cream, that kind of carb.
McDonald's.
Right, that kind of carb.
French
McDonald's
fries.
Right, ketchup, those are carbs right there.
Yeah.
But when you watch somebody's video and they go, oh, I did amazing and I did all carbs. Well, what they're talking about is watermelons, bananas, beans, kale, cabbage. Those are all carbohydrates.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so when we say carb is short for carbohydrate.
Right.
It is a universe worth of difference, light years worth of difference between produce and carbs out of a box and plastic wrapping.
Okay. Right? Wheat based carbs.
Correct.
Right.
So now, not even wheat based, green based, photosynthesis based. Right.
Okay.
So carbohydrates is the original way to get nutrition in for animals. Photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is the blueprint, and we are animals.
Okay.
Photosynthesis is the process of creating carbohydrates.
Photosynthesis is the process of creating carbohydrates. Okay.
Correct. Now, surrounding the carbohydrate, carbohydrates are naturally designed so that they're surrounded and loaded up with vitamins, minerals, fiber, pigments, protein.
They're in carbohydrates.
Antioxidants. Now,
they're surrounded by
all of those goodies.
To make a carbohydrate, all those things are in there, or are you just saying that there are
plants? When photosynthesis creates carbohydrates It packages all those things together.
Really?
Correct. So when you
To
eat
make
a
a
watermelon,
carb.
so when you eat a
Yeah.
watermelon is a carbohydrate,
Okay.
but it's loaded with all kinds of healthy amino acids,
Right.
citrulline, arginine, vitamins,
Minerals.
minerals, everything.
Right.
That's carbohydrate. Now,
Wow.
in a food processing place, they strip away the pigment and they strip away the fiber. When they take the pigment and fiber out, that is where all of the goodies are. And so the processed and hyper ultra processed carbohydrate is just empty sugar calories.
Wow.
So even just answering the term is carbohydrate a nutrient, it's a trap question because it's like,
Which
are we
carb?
talking about natural carbohydrates, photosynthesis, or are we talking about Hostess Twinkies? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yes, in the natural sense, the carbohydrates has all of those things in there. When you're talking about macros, macros are the package for the micronutrients.
Right.
So when you have your carbohydrate, you're supposed to get your trace mineral element, pigment, antioxidant, all those other things supposed to be in there.
Right.
It's only when we get the processed stuff where those things is not in there because that's the way to make more money.
Right.
I could take the plant and from the plant, instead of just making you a healthy thing to eat all at once, I could strip out the starch and the sugar and make you a food product. Then I can take the vitamins and make you a multivitamin out of the plant. Then I could take the fiber and make you a metamucil out of this same one plant. So now I got you a food product, I got you a multivitamin,
And
I
a
got
bowel
you a
movement.
fiber out of this. Then I could tell you need some antioxidants, so I could take the pigments from the same plant and make another product. You see what I'm saying? So I can
Yeah.
make all these different products by extracting them individually. Then I could sell the pulp to the pharmaceutical industry and they
Right.
can extract they can take plant extracts and turn those into medication,
Wow.
right? So they can make metformin from a plant extract. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
now they could turn that into medicine for the people who just ate the sugar.
Right.
Now you need this other extract that's still in the plant.
Yeah.
But so that's the game. You know what I'm saying? And so
So
even the concept of protein, is, like, so we got to get beyond, we have ultra processed. Then we have, so even if we go into the world of protein, right? And we deal with animal products, forget all of the vegan stuff for a second. Go into the world of protein. If you're having whey protein, right, versus eating like a liver, right? If you eat a liver is almost like a liver is basically like the multivitamin of the meat universe.
okay.
So you're getting the protein.
Okay.
It's a protein,
Yeah.
but it's loaded with all these other micronutrients.
Right.
As opposed to if you get a whey protein powder, in order to increase the profile on the back of the box and keep the calories low, whatever, they're just going to maximize the amount of, protein powders that they have it in, and it's not going to be much of anything else. Right? Because it's a hyper processed protein where they've stripped everything else from it, and now you just have this. Even in milk, there's other nutrients. Right? Even in milk, there's other nutrients besides just sugar or fats. There's, healthy fats, there's vitamins, depending on what the animal was fed.
Tanei, what is a nutrient? How do you explain nutrients to your students at the university? I know you're a Harvard University professor, and sometimes you intern. You over
He
there
just
helping
sends them
MIT.
to Dr. EnQi's channel. That's all he does is sends them to Dr.
What is a nutrient, Dr. Tanei Ricks?
For me, the simplest definition is something that either provides energy or stability for the body. Something that you ingest that provides energy or stability.
Energy or stability. Okay. Got you. Because I asked the Google demons. They told me carbs, proteins, fats. They call fats lipids. Is that a thing?
Yeah, so that's the broad name for fats, because again, fats are not just storage molecules. There can also be signaling molecules too. Plus, fatty acids are not the only kind of lipid. Like cholesterol is a lipid. Wax is also a lipid. So we tend to think about lipids as
like
as
earwax.
things that have, yeah, that's a lipid too.
Wow.
And again, those are not strictly just used for energy. Some of them have mechanical and structural properties too. So they're not all used for energy.
I have a feeling we don't understand, like, not you, but I think the average person doesn't understand when they say fat, like what a fat molecule actually is.
Yeah, because when most of the time when people think about fat, they only think about triglycerides and the storage version of fat. They only think about fat being stored as energy. They don't think about the signaling elements or like the structural elements, which, I mean, there are a lot of quote unquote fats in the body that have a lot to do with cellular signaling mechanisms. So like one example is like prostaglandins. Prostaglandins are fat derived. So there's a lot of different phospholipids. Phospholipids control, cellular signaling. Then you have phospholipid bilayer, which makes up your cell membrane. So all of those are made of phospholipid containing fat. So, it's a broad name that again is used. People use it as a way to describe one type of lipid. So like when we talk about it in organic chemistry, we call them all lipids because that includes fatty acids, it includes waxes, it also includes sterols too. So all of those are considered lipids.
So when people are talking about fat, usually they mean triglycerides.
Yes, they normally mean triglycerides.
And so when you say glyceride, that's multiple glycerin molecules?
That is multiple fatty acids connected to
acids.
one glycerol molecule.
Yeah.
Glycerol. What is glycerol?
So glycerol
sounds like you could light it on fire. I ain't gonna hold you.
So
it sounds combustible.
All right, so this kind of goes to the carbohydrate conversation, right? Because glycerol is technically carbohydrate, but it's a sugar alcohol. So carbohydrates, just like people use fat wrong, people also use carbohydrate wrong, because people say carb when they mean sugar, but there's a lot of different sugars and there's a lot of different carbohydrates.
Right.
You can have cyclitols, you can have sugar alcohols, like xylitol, erythritol. Those are sugar alcohols. Those are not actual sugars. So, but they're all carbohydrates, just like triglycerides, waxes, sterols. Those are all lipids, but they're not all fats. So you have different classifications within the macro. So, so going back to carbohydrates or going back to fats, glycerol is a sugar alcohol. So glycerol is able to connect to 3 different fatty acids, and when it connects like that, it's called a triglyceride, because you have 3 fatty acids connected to the glycerol. So that's why it's called triglyceride, and that's how your body stores fat.
Yeah, you gotta break that. You gotta break that molecule down to separate the free fatty acids from the glycerol before you can even
process it for energy.
Yeah.
Before it can go through beta oxidation, you have to hydrolyze the fatty acids off the glycerol.
Yeah.
Classic. We made another classic episode tonight. 1 in the chat if you enjoyed tonight's episode. 1 in the chat if you enjoyed tonight's episode. 1 in the chat if you enjoyed tonight's episode and Dr. EnQi's episode tonight.
1 in the chat if you enjoyed that little clip of HJ asking, how does the fake fallacy look?
See, why you had to bring that shit back up? I've been on my best behavior tonight, and you just had to bring that shit back up. See? Now he want me to start trolling again. You lucky I ain't putting no titties on the TV while you was talking. Huh? You see how he do, chat? You see how he do? That's all right. I'm gonna remember that next week. Next week we coming back. We talking about corn.
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn.
Children of the Corn. That's a nice name for next week.
Yeah. Children of the Corn. I like that. I like
Children
that.
of the corn syrup.
Children of the Corn syrup. Ooh. Let me write that down.
Children of the Corn syrup. That's a bar.
Of the corn syrup. Because I still take notes by hand. I still use, I'm old school. I use the pencils and shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I like to do my shit.
I agree. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I got notebooks and everything. I do it old school, you know. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that at all. All right, fellas, thank you very much for joining me tonight. I look forward to tonight's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, get out of here. I'll see you tomorrow for another episode. Tomorrow is Pop the Balloon Wednesdays.
What happens on Pop the Balloon Wednesday?
Well, we play a little ladies music. We talk about relationships. You know, a lot. We have you on the relationships. Then we watch Pop the Balloon, and in Pop the Balloon, I read the women. I tell people what type of women they are before a lot of them even talk about themselves, and I'm usually right. I'm like 90% right.
So Pop the Balloon is a show?
Oh, you don't know about Pop the Balloon?
No.
Pop the Balloon is one of my favorite shows, and basically it's a dating show, okay? And basically what happens is you got one person who is looking for a match. So you might have a woman, and then there's a whole lineup of men. And
I seen that. I seen the clips on YouTube.
There you
I didn't
go.
know what I was watching clips of. I thought those was 20v1s.
I know it's close to it. It's similar. It's similar. And then if you don't like the person, you pop the balloon.
Okay, because I seen Woody and Charleston White doing a 20v1.
Oh, that's the fake one. That's the fake pop the balloon.
Okay, and
I don't watch the bootleg one. That's the ghetto one.
Okay.
I do the chic.
The original was ghetto. What you mean?
Hey, hold on now, tonight. Don't be talking shit about Arlette now. Hold on.
Okay, who's Arlette?
That's the owner of the show and host. It's two Africans. They run the show.
Africans be trolling Americans. You gotta watch them Africans, bro. You gotta watch them.
Yeah, I swear to you, she be trolling the whole time. I be like, yo, why you set that girl up like this?
Yeah.
Arlette is low-key devious. I be telling the chat, I'm like, yo.
But it works, though. That's the shameful part of it. To highlight Black American stupidity is a gold mine. I just can't, like, I'm just designed to do something different. Like, those are my ops. I'm here to increase the Black American intelligentsia. Like, that's, but I understand the exploitation market.
It's a little exploitation going on there. It's a little bit, just a hint. And I gotta exploit the exploit. I gotta bring it right back.
That sounds a lot like Bully and the Bully. I'm with you.
There you go. Arlette be on that BS. Arlette she be trying to, she if you not watching properly, you won't peep how she trolling and using niggas. But she's slick with it. Like, what did you mean by that comment when you said that? I'm like, Arlette, do not ask that girl that question. You know she about to go off and diss somebody and act super ghetto. Arlette will set that up. She creating content. Yeah.
Highlighting the women out here feeding Pepsi, putting Pepsi in their baby bottles.
It's not that bad.
Them babies grow up to be the adults on them shows.
Yeah, that is true. You could tell them was Pepsi babies. Them was Pepsi babies. That is true. Yeah. All right, let me get out of here, get some rest. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Hotepistan, we love y'all.
Peace.
Rolling through the sand like a thought in disguise. The scarab spins truth where the cosmos collide.